Yay! Okay, cool. We're looking good, I think. Hi, guys. I think we're good. Yeah. Yeah. Solid. What is up, everyone? This is Coffee with Soul. I'm your host. We're going to chat, we're going to talk, we're going to wait for realms to come up. Over here on the US side of things, we're waiting for maintenance to finish so that way we can check our Great Vault for the first time and see what kind of goodies we got and see if we can finally use the catalyst on something. If we get, like, you know, 1 tier piece from, like, the vault, and then we can convert another thing that we happen to get during gameplay or whatever. But we probably want to wait until the end of this week because who knows what we might. Yeah, so we're gonna deal with those sorts of, you know, little gear conundrums and all that. Just a quick FYI, the supporter streamer promo is still going on for like a week or so. The mount promo is going to end this coming Thursday. So for those of you, you might want to like double check, make sure you claimed your Glastly Charger mount. Make sure you claimed it, or you otherwise got yourself enough time to you know, claim it or whatever. Yeah. So I hope everyone's doing well. Hope everyone has had a good weekend, that your loots were good, that no one was trying to assassinate you or whatever. Apparently, it just happens on the regular now. Let's say hi to people. What's up to Peter? You're the first. Actually, let's say hi to Dokeef. You're the first person to say hi as usual. You crazy dude, you. What is up to Peter and Darth? To Puddle Jumper? To Blue and to White Ninja? To Buggies and Boris? To Phage and to Anne? To Snooker? To Dale Richards? To Kerwin? To Draco? To Luan? To Anthony? To Juan? To Sinhatlanta? I like that one. Like the title suggests, I want to look at delves, and I want to talk about how... I'm not going to say that they are easy, but I'm going to speak very strictly from my perspective, that I found my whole experiment to be... it was way easier than I thought it was going to be. So I was asking folks on social media the other day, I was like, hey, so which class or which spec has the hardest time in delves? And most folks had said Shadow Priest. So I'm like, all right, cool. How convenient. I just started leveling one. And just a couple of FYIs. I tried leveling this priest from you know, like you know, he had rest XP and all that stuff. I had him level almost entirely through delves. So I just did like one delve and I did the quest that's related to it and turned it in or whatever. He had a 20% XP boost because he was, you know, I had 4 level 80s before. This happened to be the 5th one. And I got to level 77 after completing all of the delves and all of the world quests and extra objectives that were available. And I was like, all right, cool, 77. Damn, that sucks. So I ended up doing dungeons for the last couple of levels. In case anyone's wondering how good or how bad delve leveling was. But I wanted to do that specifically because I wanted to experience delves with the Shadow Priest. I wanted to get used to the routine, like how things worked, and I didn't want it to feel like, oh, it's my first time coming in here, you know, doing like a higher level delve and, you know, see what happens. So the experiment was, can I take a freshly leveled character, or basically how low can I go, and try to complete a higher level delve as is. And folks who know me, they know that in the world of Warcraft, I only play one class. I only play my paladin, and everything else is a joke. Everything else is just funny. The last time that people have seen me like do any even remotely serious gameplay on a not paladin was during the whole horrific vision thing, where I wanted to demonstrate to people how to do horrific visions with like pretty much any class, any spec, just to make a point that it's possible to do without needing like super high level gear. All it really takes is just the experience and some practical knowledge on how to do pulls and stuff like that. You know, that's mostly what it takes, because at least in Horrific Visions, I was relying a lot on essences, the Azerite essences that had like some cool effects and stuff. In this case, I mostly, you could say that I relied on Bran, because my brand happens to be at a fairly high level, so which makes, you know, which kind of taints this experiment. But there's nothing I can really do. There's nothing I can really do about that. So I did 2 delves last night. First one I did was Earthcrawl Mines, because it was like, oh, it's right there, cool, let's go. And then I did Creepgull's Rest, which we'll go over in just a bit. My character has an item level of 540. They had put on some Warbound gear that I happened to collect along the way, and that was it. Like, my experience with this class is extremely limited. I knew pretty much nothing, so I was just kind of growing into the class as I was leveling. I was trying out the Archon spec, I was trying out the Shadow one, and I ended up sticking to the Shadow one for the most part, because I don't have talents here to look at, but for the most part, I took whatever talents I could to try and not exactly increase DPS, but I wanted to increase my damage as much as I could. But anything that that gave me slows or crowd controls or things like that, like, I wanted to take advantage of. I was hoping, or I was kind of preparing myself to do things like, ooh, let me do, like, maybe I should do some mind control tricks or something like that. And I didn't end up needing to, because I was just not plowing through, but I was able to get through this quite smoothly. And these, I'm gonna play this speed. I'm gonna speed the footage here, but it took like 20 minutes for Earthcrawl and about 22 minutes for Kriegvals. for this one, and you'll see like what I do, and I'll try to do some commentary like as I go. But let me read some chat. Let me read some chat really quick. Maybe I can turn this into a video. This will be like the first of the, and I'll just do like every class, and I'll do a different delve each time. I guess that would, if I do this as a series, it'll take a while because I need to level these characters first, and then get right into it. So. Yes, they did. Fresh 80s and greens can clear 8s. Yes, they did. So Blizzard's going to nerf the part again and make them harder. Now, which part did they nerf, though? Because I was looking at some of the targeted nerfs, and like they took on certain things like, hey, we reduced boss damage, we reduced certain elite damage, and things like that. But I didn't expect to be able to take this on like right out the gate. And as a bit of feedback, this feels weird to me because I might have a good brand, and I'm sure Brand did like decent damage, but I was looking at meters every now and then, and Brand wasn't like a huge contributor. Like, I was still buying, he definitely did less than half. He did less than half the damage, and so I don't know. I just found it weird. I played them early last week until they got fixed to one-shotting me. Is it better now? You could say that. You shouldn't be getting heroic rate equivalent gear from content you can do at 560 item. Yeah, so like I said, I'm 540, and I have hero vault gear waiting for my Shadow Priest. And that seemed kind of... I mean, that's what happened, So people can nitpick at that. Oh, it's because he can self-heal, or he happened to choose easy delves. He should choose a hard one. I don't even know what a hard. To be honest, I don't even know what a hard delve is because I'm so fucking. Yeah. As of last night, I could barely solo 6s and 7s, but I could do 8s with the same gear. Let's see. Mostly normal hero gear was still murdering me with undodgeable web bolts. Let's see. They successfully assassinate. Okay. Delves are awesome. Don't get me wrong. I really like Delves. There's such a huge variable in the delve that I tend to run my ults at least 2 levels lower than the item level recommendation. Sometimes it feels very easy, but most of the time it just feels so much harder. Perfect vision stuff was very useful to me. I've only done delves with a pally and a hunter. How was it for Clothies? It wasn't so bad. We'll go over it. Which talent tree did I use? I used the void one, whatever that's called. Do you think people shouldn't get hero gear from the 4 Mythic Zero weekly quest? No. I'm just saying what I did, and then y'all can come to your own conclusions. I'm not going to say what people should and shouldn't get. What's your strategy? I did 7s. Because why? So here's a tip for folks. If you want hero gear, do 7s. Why stress yourself out by doing 8s? Because, oh, you want to save on some flight stones and crests? Fuck that. I can wait. I can farm a little bit more and get some more, whatever the hell crests they're called, and some valor stones. That's not a big deal. Do 7s. Like, yeah, do 7s. And if you tell me, oh, you should be doing 8s, I ain't gonna do 8s. Did I farm before all the changes? Did I farm before all the changes? I'm not sure what you mean by farming. One piece of heroic raid gear a week is not that crazy for a low item level casual. I think everyone should just relax and let people play the game and gear up. Stop arbitrarily. There you go. Gatekeeping ML. I agree with that. I don't think that, like I said, I'm not preaching for this to be for delves to be buffed or made to be harder, but I skipped a lot of that journey. And maybe it's just because I have experience with the delves themselves. Maybe it is brand. Maybe I'm a better player than I thought, but I don't believe that. So, I mean, chat, if you want to like, I won't be able to do it here on stream because realms are going to be down for a while, and I'm going to want to do other things, like raid prep and all that stuff for my character. But tell me what's like the hardest delve. What's the nastiest combo? What's the shittiest way to do a delve? And then I'll do that. Like, oh, if you're do a healer and in this delve with this certain story. I mean, the story's gonna be tough because I gotta wait for the right one to pop up. But yeah, just tell me like what spec is just stupid. What spec is just a bad idea? Because at first I asked, hey, what is it? And hella people said Shadow Priest. I'm like, all right, Shadow Priest, let's go. And then I smoked it. But yeah, let me get caught up with chat, and then we'll get to the footage here. Well, bolts hurt, but you have to interrupt. How are delves currently? I haven't done 8 in a couple days. Me and my buddy were struggling after the update they did. Yes, do 7s and boost them with upgrades. You can't be extreme unless you live extreme. 8 wasn't so bad with my guild, just needing time to actually be on them. I leveled from a 3 to an 8 with no problems. Did 8 no problem. Did 9 and 10 no problem. 11 thing were impossible. Big change in difficulty, and I think that's fine. Give something, give something for people to chase. But like in terms of the gear development, that should be a bit more accessible. I just feel like I skipped a lot by just being like, oh, let's just go right in and see what happens. I'm like, oh, okay. And like again, maybe it is mostly like brand stuff that's doing it. Brand healer is so much better than damage right now. I did, well, I'll go over the footage, but I did end up switching brand to a healer for the bosses because like I do die, right? And the potions like kept me up. So Fungal Folly is meh. Delves have changed so much throughout the week. I was just wondering when I ran my Shadow Priest last night. Late last night. love Dells. Solo Blood DK with Brand doing damage. Tier 8 is easy. A lot of the time I find the mini boss response inside the Delve's bonus objectives are nasty or worse than the actual Delve end boss. I agree with that a lot of the time. I've been running Dells with my 60-year-old mom who has mobility issues and struggles a little bit with raid mechanics that require speed, and we did fine up to tier 8, honestly. Okay, so here we go. Here's Kriegvol's Rest. I think this is running at what, like 4? Let me run it at like 3x or something like that. Maybe I can do the commentary fast enough like this. So, oh, you don't need to hear my. You don't need sounds from me. Okay. So I go into this with combat. And the tactic is very simple. Like, at least with this particular delve, like a lot of the mobs are spaced apart. And even then, you're able to do pulls without having to worry so much about pulling like massive packs and stuff. So the Kobold Task Finders, like they're definitely like HP sponges. They just take a little while to kill. And the tactic that I used for my priest was to, whenever they finish their big cast, their big fire breath cast, I'll pop fades. That way, like he'll go over to Bran and smoke him. And then we'll just smoke them together. Like I said, Bran spec for damage. My spec is the shadowy spec. So you'll see, like you see that little that shadow orb thingamajig. That's supposed to slow down the enemy. It does quite a bit of damage too. And for those who don't know, that you could see like on the top, you could see kind of towards the right side of the screen, right under the objectives, like right here, you can see this drop candle button. So that's a big deal in this delve. You know, drop the candle, make sure, you know, to give yourself like the full reach of the battlefield. It'll give you the most room to move. So like here, I'm going into this room and I'm just gonna start clearing everything out from this vantage point. You know, using little lines of sights here and there, and then just using the rest of my toolkit. You know, if I'm taking damage, I'll bubble. If I'm taking too much damage, or if I aggro too much, then I'll pop fade. Otherwise, I'm just kind of doing like whatever the hell I think is the right rotation, whatever that might be. But this particular room is like a lot of single pulls, and I'm just getting everything that I can. That way, I can fill up this bar and complete the objective, and then move on to the next thing. But I was still learning this class. I'm still not quite sure what to do. Like, I was not making good use of like Shadow Fiend. This is the second run that I've done. But I still wasn't making good use of like Shadow Fiend. I'm not even quite sure how much of a damage contributor that is. But if anything, I guess it would be like a good fallback in case I was taking aggro and Bran happened to die, because there are periods, I'm not sure if it was this run, where Bran becomes unconscious, and one thing that I could have done, that I could do, is pop Shadow Fiend, then pop Fade, let the Shadow Fiend take a couple hits while I either res Bran, or I run like a, you know, or I run the hell away. So every now and then I'm able to kind of like relax a little bit and throw a Shadow Crash. It's really not something that feels like a useful tool here in Delves, because I don't want to get too much aggro on too many things at once. That's just a recipe for eating it. So yeah, you saw right there. Here, let me try to go back to that real quick. Yeah, here we go. So Bran's here. He's doing, oh gosh, 23 something % of the damage, but I'm still by and far like doing most of the work. If he was in very, very high level delves, I noticed that Bran does like the vast majority of it, like 60-70% or so. But in this case, not so much. So here's another one of those big guys. You know, they're typically easy to handle. Now, one thing that's cool too about Shadow Priest is that dude has like 46-yard range. So if I'm pulling that max range, that's a lot of damage I can get in before having to like do anything. So I can get a bunch of damage in. You can see here I'm just kind of pulling dudes on the side while avoiding that big guy. But yeah, if I'm going at as far of a range as I can, then obviously I can, and I slow them, then I'm going to feel pretty good being able to do that much damage before the enemy even gets there. And then as a priest, I could just pop fade and be like, ha, so all that love that I gave will contribute. Here I kind of like discovered, I'm like, oh, I need to clear the rest of the room, or I need to hit a certain progression threshold in order to proceed to the next spot. So I'm just going to clear these out real quick. One thing at a time. And that's I think that's a big thing that folks don't quite get, is like, just take it slow and steady. This still only took like 20 minutes, 22 minutes, I think, to complete. And it wasn't so bad. I just had to be very careful about the pulls. Needed to not get reckless, not take any like big risks. I don't want to risk losing any lives. And so far I'm getting through here like just fine. But it's mostly because I have control. I have, I'm able to choose my battles. I'm able to pull the way that I want to, not overpull, not suddenly run into situations where there's like a bunch of mobs coming at me. Now, one spot where this would be tough, there are those, there are other stories or other delves where you'll start an encounter and guys will come at you, and that's tougher because you lose that much control. You don't exactly choose your battles; they just start coming to you. So I'm sure that in those sorts of delves, I would have to approach it a little bit differently, or I would have to be a lot more careful, make sure that I can handle that. And in fact, in the next room, that's exactly what I'm going to run into. And spoiler alert, I do die towards the end of towards the end of this whole ambush thing. So here I think I overpulled too much. So you see me pop in fear, which I sometimes forget about. I think I did do it a lot in the upcoming encounter, but pulling more than one mob can feel a little bit dangerous. So don't. That's it. Just don't. Just do what you can. So here comes the ambush stuff. So again, like what I was talking about, now I need to employ like kind of a different approach with lots of use of fade. Small heals towards myself and to Brand, because like you'll see like the HP bars over there, like things are getting a little bit sketch because I'm trying to get Brand to tank as much as I can, but there's not much I can do. There's no break in battle. There's no room for me to eat. He's not spec'd for healer, and so I'm just doing my best to kite dudes around inside the light area, bringing them over to traps wherever I can, making use of the AOE that I get from that. You can see Brand's going down a little bit more, but also I'm not playing very well. I could use a whole bunch more Devouring Plague, and I'm not. Mostly because I don't want to over aggro, and otherwise then I would die really quick. So you see me just kind of like balancing like who takes the damage, him or me, and trying to do like small heals here and there, but I die. So off we go and we try again. So now I spec him for healer, ha ha ha. Which might be a good idea once you get to that checkpoint. If you don't want to backtrack, just go ahead and spec him to heals, and if you're still doing okay as it is, then cool. That way you save a death. You don't have to do a second run back. I miss a treasure. That gives me a shitload of HP. Cool. Wish I saw that early. That probably would have helped out a lot. So yeah, just one more guy, and then the boss will pop out, and he just like goes for it. I thought I was gonna at least be able to get like give myself like a moment to prepare myself mentally, but nah. So in this case, now that I have the heals to rely on, now I'm employing them to like the full extent. I'm popping the egg, making sure that the egg pops up so I can get more damage contributions there, and then from there it's just rotations. Now he does like this kind of stun sort of thing, and whenever he does the stun, that's when I'll like pop a power word shield or something like that, and then when I get out of it, then I'll pop fade just to get him away from me. But I'll usually pop the fade right after he does that flame storm thing. Now it does do damage, so before flame storm pops, I'll pop a power word shield to reduce the damage that I'm taking, but it's thanks to Brand's healing and the potions that I'm able to just kind of keep going or just keep doing my rotation. He doesn't get slowed or anything like that, but the damage that I'm doing with the I don't even know what the ability is called, that void thing, it seemed to be pretty good. But I'm sure Brand was contributing like a good bit as well. But yeah, there was just like one death, and that was it. Woo! And I got look at 610, baby. Yeah, and then there you go, 540 with here, so if you want to glance is like 512, 584, 447, 535, 535. 571 weapon, that was a Warbound thing. Like the Warbound stuff included like those gloves that I think I got from the raid. And then there was like some other cool stuff too. Some adventurer stuff. Yeah, so not bad. How do you get the guy to not throw you? I didn't. He threw me. He threw me every time. Desperate prayer. What's desperate prayer? Oh, that's the emergent. I forgot about that. Is it on my bars at all? Well, if it was, I never used it. I totally forgot about it. So, yeah, that's that run. And then I did another one. If I can find it. Maybe this one. Okay, so I started this one a little bit ago, or I was a few minutes into this one. So let me read chat though. Let's see. You gain a lot by creating talent builds for each delve. What sucks is keeping them current with class changes. Talent builds for each delve? Yeah. I don't think having a separate build for each one, I don't think that's necessary. I think there's like fundamentals that you'll want to pick up for your class, for your spec anyway. But I think I would just have like a basic delve build and then I'll play with that one. Like, I know that there's a lot more talent builds you can do, but then I know that I'd totally confuse myself with having these multiple builds, and I know that I would forget to set them anyway, or I would forget which one is which, because not only are there different delves, there are different stories inside these delves, which kind of changes the approach. And yeah, I think just having one is enough. From my similar testing with the Warlock Priest and whatnot, I found Demo Lock can easily do delves, but my main Feral Druid struggled with 30 levels higher. I think my issue solo was I thought I could do it under geared. Delves do teach you a lot on how to employ your class, for sure. This should be even easier after the reset because we're getting that 6% buff. What 6% buff? Oh, you mean Shadow Priest? Okay. Remember, it's TBC Time Walking? Yep, TBC Time Walking, which means if you do the Time Walking raid, make sure you pick up both of the quests and you get hella gear. Hella gear! I think delves are too easy. I think the idea of delves rewarding heroic raid level gear was something to be done through an entire season, not literally day one and basically endless. I disagree with that. I think that if people are good enough and they get the gear, then they should get the gear, Christopher. Like what I'm demonstrating here is, you know, if I want to spin it a certain way, this is someone who has played WoW for 20 years. This is someone who's familiar with, you know, a lot of the mechanics of how World of Warcraft works. This is someone who has a high level brand. I think he's like 30 or something like that. And he's someone who has a lot of delve experience, you know. So take that as it is. But the whole thing about, you know, lobies or delves shouldn't have heroic raid gear early on, that I don't buy into. I say let them have it. Let people have the gear, because the people who are really into delves are not going to try to play with you anyway. They're going to live in delves. The people who do Mythic Plus, the people who do Mythic Raids and stuff, now that it's opening up, people will be like, yep, peace out, bye delves, literally useless content. And that's fine, because Mythic Plus and Raids, that is their end game. They've had it. They can go back to it now. But the people who are really into delves, if not for delves, they have nothing. You know, so I see lots of disingenuous arguments from the end game crowd being like, "Well, they're just going to be doing keys because they, you know, so they can get gear or whatever." No, they're not. They weren't doing keys before. They're not going to do keys now either. Now they have this spot, and the people who exclusively play in this spot, they're gonna give their own feedback, which you might be like, oh my god, they want it to be so easy, but who cares? A lot of us should just mind our own business. There's a yeah, just mind your own damn business. Who cares what they get? Did I do anything with melee DPS? I just killed him faster. To be honest, I killed him faster and I just single pulled. Also make use of your damage cooldowns, like during that death you still had. I never used power infusion at all, not once, because I was like, I don't need it. Because the big thing is, if you doing a lot of damage is doing a lot of damage, and Fade will help with that. But Fade isn't available all the time, so I would need to like time my power infusion so that way I'm using it, knowing that I could fade out of it, and not hold on to too much aggro at once. So, has Brand learned how to heal? That I'm not sure. The emergency heal would have been good. Yeah, it would have been good for the ambush for sure. Does anyone know what gear works for the Catalyst? Almost all of it. Almost all of it. Do you think delves are going to be pointless now with Mythic Plus? See, that's what I was getting at. The folks that do Mythic Plus, just do Mythic Plus. Delves are not going to be pointless because there are people who don't do anything otherwise. So, yeah, delves are still going to be something a lot of people are going to do until they run out of rewards to get from delves. And once they clear everything, and it's going to happen even for people who just do delves, but for the people who do Mythic Plus, just yeet off, go away. Like, the feedback that's come from people who do Mythic Plus and raids, who talk about the rate of getting gear and what's needed for it and blah, 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 that's tainted as fuck. Now, not to say that those people shouldn't be doing delves at all, and they are offering feedback, but I don't think that it's very useful feedback. Not feedback that warrants like changes or rebalancing for delves. Like, there's a certain audience for it, and those are the folks that should be listened to the most. It's just that we don't really hear a lot from them, because you're not going to see like some, hey, I'm a big delve person. You don't see, at least right now, we haven't seen this emerging set of creators that are centered around delve content. Just like how you don't see like people who are like, oh, pro world content players. I'm not even quite sure what that means. So, let's see. Did Brand get run over by the minecarts all the time? I'm not sure. I haven't looked at this footage yet, so we're looking at this together. I'm happy I can have relevant gear on my own and a challenging experience loving delves. I'm gonna, before I get into this, I want to play this thing that Ian said when first talking about delves. So maybe that'll resonate a little bit differently. We'll get back to this. But first, I think it's the deep dive. And it's playing way too fast, so let me make sure the volume mostly works. I know that's low, don't worry.
Comfort of your home. Thank you for taking the time to join me for this deeper, closer look at what's coming next. I want to spend a bit. So, what is a delve? As you heard yesterday, delves are these quick bites.
Like, you gotta, I'm gonna play this takes a few minutes, but it'll help you understand like the philosophy and who the target audience is. And I think this is kind of important to remind yourselves of when they first announced this a year ago.
Bite-size epic adventures for flexible size groups, either solo or with up to 5 players. They are role agnostic, so it doesn't matter if you're a couple DPS, if you're a healer and a tank, if you're a solo healer. We're going to make it work. We're going to meet you where you are, how you want to play. Delves are a new endgame pillar This is a permanent addition to World of Warcraft going forward and represents kind of a capstone to the outdoor world experience. We've had dungeons, we've had raids, we've had organized PvP, and I think we've had some stuff for outdoor world players to dabble in. But if you wanted progression, if you wanted goals, if you wanted a deeper, more structured experience, frankly, we were letting you down. We want to change that. That's what delves represent in World of Warcraft. So structuring this, really we want to approach it as something that you are going to be engaging in all season long with variety and flexibility in how you approach it, and the replayability of the content is kind of a mainstay of what it's all about. But also want to build in progression. And I think if you're an outdoor world focused player, a lot of the time it's just about kind of spending your time doing a thing, going to a place, completing an event, but there aren't necessarily goals to work towards. There aren't necessarily reasons to be excited about getting an item upgrade because it's going to let you do something you haven't been able to do before. A difficulty progression built into delves is going to enable us to offer that. Now, there's a lot of lessons we've learned.
Actually, I think that covers it. So that's like one of the big takeaways is that delves are offering something for an audience, just world content people who they might have like gotten like they had goals to reach. Hey, there's veteran gear to get here and there, but there wasn't a chance to really flex it. There wasn't a chance to be like, okay, what do I do with this? We see a lot of folks. I've seen lots and lots of discourse from world content players being like, hey, we should be able to eventually get mythic gear as well. And the counter argument for that from Mythic Plus folk and whatever was, well, there's nothing for you to do it for. You shouldn't get that gear, right? And so Blizzard's response to that is, okay, we're going to give you something to play in that will give you a reason to get better gear. And this is where we're at. So I think so that's why, like I was saying during the weekly, they were confident about this. They wanted to ensure that this thing gets support from the very beginning. And I think that's cool. Let me go back to this thing and no need for sound anymore. We're good. We're good there. Let's see, I'd be okay with killing Zekfir once a week. That could give Delve mythic slot, let people get gear. I don't know about forcing people to do Zekfir. Because I also believe in toe stepping. I believe that, now that Mythic Plus is starting, what you're seeing, and this is appropriate behavior, you're seeing people be like, oh my god, thank god Mythic Plus is in. See you, GG delves, goodbye, never coming back. And that's fine. Stay in your lane. We've seen discourse between PvE and PvP. How PvPers were like, oh, we have to do raids in order to get like decent gear, or like some PvEers will be like, oh, we have to PvP to get like this certain slot of gear or whatnot. Now it's not like that. Just do the thing that you want to do. Leave each other alone. And that's what's that's what ought to happen here. If heroic gear, if hero class gear is enough to take down the likes of Zekfir, sure, fine. Because what would happen if we had something where, defeating Zekfir on, the first or second difficulty will give myth track gear. You know what's going to happen? You're going to get the Mythic Plus people, you're going to get the raid people to come back. They're going to come back, and they're going to slam it, and with their increased visibility, their increased voice, they are going to dictate the feedback. And then then things will be tuned for them, because they're going to keep pushing, and it's going to be a struggle for Blizzard to try to sift through that feedback and try to listen to other folks. So no, I don't believe that myth track gear, there's no need to lure like top end folks back to that. There's none. Let folks have this space for themselves. let me get caught up with chat, and then we'll look at the footage here. My guild is doing a full Delve night tonight. We're gonna burn at least 2 rank 3s because I'm doing it for XP. Blizzard's expansion thought of the people who were pure PvEers or just really don't have much time for WoW. Only reason I did keys before was Crest. Keys always overstressed me. Yeah. So if it's not something that you enjoy doing but you wanted the gear, do this instead. I did old content and current dungeons before delves. They've never been too easy. If you want them harder, do them naked instead of stopping average players from being able to complete them. Fade has a talent that also makes it reduce incoming damage by I think 20%, so it isn't just about dumping aggro. No, but at least in practice, Bookmouse, I was using Fade strictly as an aggro dump. I didn't really get anything out of the damage reduction. I'm sure it helped because, you know, I would be taking whatever damage, but I wasn't exactly doing it on a cooldown. I mean, maybe in higher level delves, it'll be important for me to have that as a damage reduction instead, but at least at this level, it wasn't necessary. I mostly do solo content, but I find it to be a challenge when it's hard, but unbeatable is not cool. Haven't come across that yet. Haven't noticed any changes myself, but I've been blasting them solo too. I haven't played yesterday with my hunter, but I can clear most 8s, and I'm not level 600, which is required for 8s. It's not required, it's just recommended. And it's not like it means, oh, if you meet this item level, then, you know, everything's gonna roll over either. Like, your skill, your class, you know, there are lots of variables that will make things easier or not. Top content creators for world boss strategy, yeah. Should Dells have a heroic mode? No, I don't. Yeah, they have scaling difficulty. They don't need a heroic mode. Do higher delves reward more crests? More crests? No. I did see like we got like limited numbers of ruined and even gilded crests from the bountiful delve map things, but I don't think we have reliable information on like exactly how it works so far. Maybe in this second week we'll learn more. My only take on delves is that I almost think them being limited to a max of 3 people would have been better. I see what you're saying with that, Kerwin. Like having 5 people, it introduces a lot of weird possibilities when it comes to scaling. It's like, what happens when you bring 5 healers? You know, what's the damage and what's the health values of the mobs then? Something like that. I think it's fine, but I also don't think it matters. Doesn't tier 8 give champion gear? Tier 7 gives champion gear. So does tier 8, but it starts at tier 7. I agree Dells should be soloable content for solo players to get good gear, but the effort required on launch did not match the heroic raids. It's too easy. After yesterday, I agree with that. It does feel too easy to where I'm skipping a lot of the journey. But again, maybe it's because I'm doing well. Maybe it's because of Bran. Maybe it's because the stories that I happen to be doing in these 2 delves, maybe they happen to be easy. I don't know. I'd have to put in like hundreds of hours with every class and every spec and to really give that sort of to give that sort of take. And even then, that's going to be tainted because I'll have a high-powered Bran and I'll have tremendous experience with these delves. So if solo players can get heroic gear, that's fine, but the effort required isn't balanced if it's 1/10 of the actual heroic rating. I mean, it is just 1 slot. You know, our 2 delves give you 1 slot of heroic gear. You know, if raiders want to do that, cool. I am, because that's like my level. Mythic Plus people, they're going to do it until they don't need to anymore. Mythic players, they're going to do it until they don't need to anymore. I mean, same thing goes for me. Let's see. Tier delves drop. Wait, hold on. Tier. Oh, delve rewards and the great. Oh yeah. They can award. Yeah, like every vault row has a possibility of dropping tier. Yeah. Oh god, you guys are chatting a lot. Can also use dispersion. I used it once or twice. I used it a handful of times. Anecdotal, of course, but I've seen a few people still bitching about how hard they are in trade. I know there's a few kits out there that are going to make it harder or easier. I'm lousy on the mage, but I love the fantasy. Definitely saving him for Mega Brand. Mega Brand! I was doing tier 8 dells on my Beastmaster Hunter at 580. Is this PTR? No, this is footage. Realms are down now, I think. Jared and I even managed to knock out a duel with my Hunter and his Priest when the scaling was hard. Cool. I think that's cool solo stuff, and I'll catch up. Go do a heroic raid or whatever in 540 item level gear and see what happens. It'll be great. They can just time gate getting the keys will even out, and people will need to do mythic raid to fill everything. People are already bitching about the time gating for everything else. Is the solution really to time gate some more? How long were Rome supposed to be down for? Until, I think, 10 o'clock? So they might be up soon. I've been soloing with my Hunter since Cataclysm. I think they're great. They're for making content for solo players to keep your gear relevant for... Okay, so here we go. I'm caught up. Let's take a look and see. So this is my first delve. This is the first delve after hitting max level. Still item level 540. I actually left it up on screen just in case people were doubting me, in case I put this into a video. You can see I'm running a 7. I'm in Earthcrawl Mines, and it's the map where the mine carts are like just running at shit. so let's go. Let me put this on. I'm gonna put this on 2x. I think 3x was a little bit fast when I was doing it, so I'll go with 2. Yeah, so this is good. So freaking the map freaking started like with this Nerubian Lord like right here. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna use the minecart. I'm gonna use the terrain mechanics to, you know, to try to smoke him, and it's, you know, and it's working to a certain extent, like, but it doesn't seem to be like inflicting the damage that I was hoping it would. So I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna go ahead and take this guy out myself. But yeah, at least as a first fight, I'm employing the things that, you know, I was talking about before. Just make sure I am, make sure I'm hitting fade off cooldown, and then from there, you know, do my best to use the terrain to my advantage. So that means trying to kind of like lure guys like closer to me, which is a little bit hard because these guys happen to be casters as well. But from there, I just need to kind of like shut them down by using silences or whatnot wherever I can. So these guys, like, so those powered up dudes, like, they're not too bad because it happens to be like those little mobs that were powered up by the Zekfir shadow thing, and that wasn't so bad. Brand is spec for damage, and during this part, I spec him for healing later because I happen to die. Fearmongers are surprisingly tanky. They have tons and tons of health. And of course, a reason to run away from them because they do that AoE fear. And so what I'll try to do here is, you know, eventually try to lure mobs into the way of the minecart, so that way, you know, they take like big damage, they get knocked back. I believe it also interrupts cast and other stuff. So with this first room, I gotta make sure I clear the room, which is like, okay, great. Nerubian Captain, he does like pretty vicious melee if he gets too close for too long, because he does like a big old cleave, he does melee damage, and he also pops that shield, which I'm not sure if I did a good job of keeping an eye on. Threadmancers, I'd say, are one of the more dangerous mobs here because they do that nasty like web bolt cast thing. But they're also softer. They go down pretty quick. So here I accidentally pulled 2, but then, okay, cool, I'm gonna use the minecart thing to smoke them. And from here, you can see I'm like close, super close to death. But employing fade, trying to keep calm, that's a very big deal. You know, and it's important to have that the mindset of, it's not like a horrific vision. If I die or whatever, the horrific vision doesn't end. I don't reset. I don't lose my key. You know, and it's not, oh, better luck next week. No, I could just try again immediately if I wanted to. So one thing that's important is to give yourself time to give yourself the opportunity to experiment, to play around with specs, to play around with different builds, and see what works for you. You know, what I'm doing here might not work for everybody. Some people might be like, "Oh, that void thing, that's the worst. You should be the Archon with the big halo thing. That's way better." And I'm like, I don't know. This is what I happen to level with for the most part. I tried using the halo thing and like it was cool, but I don't know. Like it didn't feel great to me. But being able to pull up like this whole void ball, I thought that was like way cooler. But this delve, along with many others, like this offers a lot of opportunity for good positioning, like good positioning platform. Here it kind of works against me because I have to go up the slope, which doesn't quite work. I'm like, can I jump and dot the dude? Maybe it's because this dude's a goblin as well. But then this one is like, I think I end up pulling both. Yeah, I end up pulling both. But it's not so bad. It's just single pulls, dudes. This run took about 20 minutes. Single pulls, play it safe. That's it. Play conservatively. You know, don't treat it like it's Mythic Plus or like a heroic dungeon where you got to pull them all and see if you can handle it all and then give feedback based on that. No, just pull the way, however you feel most comfortable. So here's me taking on a rare. At first I was like, okay, can I take this guy out? Because I was like, okay, I'm feeling pretty good for this being the first run, but I was like surprised at like how easy it was. I was just like, okay, but then this rare, this guy might smoke me. So here I am trying my best to control the fight, making liberal use of fade whenever I can, and also timing it right too, because he does a cast, which gives me time to like move around or get some casts off. But then it's when that cast ends, that's when I should use fade. Like don't use fade when in the middle of like a boss cast or in the middle of a cast, because then you're going to lose that much. You're going to. There's no reason to use it really. So now I'm just kind of going through the motions, doing the single pulls, making sure to get the melee dudes first, and in the hopes that I don't end up aggroing them, which I did anyway. So, but that's the typical rule of thumb. Pull the melee out first, do single pulls when possible, because it's going to be, you'll be able to clear it that much easier. I guess I think I was checking Brand's damage there. It's there. He's definitely contributing, but he's not overwhelmingly handling the damage. So here I'm carefully pulling that Fearmonger, making sure that I don't get the other guy, because that dude has tons and tons of health, and that's going to cause me problems. But here you can see me just trying to lure the guy over and try to get him hit by the minecart as much as I can. Sometimes Brand will get aggro, and that'll be a problem, but no, whatever. So I think I'll try to cross over. Yeah, I'll try to cross over, try to get him hit. Bam! Sucker! So... whether you're melee or caster or healer or whatever, use the terrain, man. Use the terrain to your advantage. Those little pillars there on the sidewalls, they do work. I don't think I use it here, but it's mostly like a melee tank thing. But I found it to be effective with line of sighting mobs away, so that way they're not just standing there casting. They'll try to go around the corner and try to get at you, and then boom, got him. So. Melee, though, in this case, are easy to handle because, boom, they can just get hit by the minecart for a big HP reduction, or big damage on them. And we're just kind of going through. What helped, too, was killing that rare, so I can get that loader buff. The one that gives the random proc, where it does a lot of damage. It does huge damage, especially if it happens to be large packs of mobs, which I'm avoiding to do. Like even with these guys, I'm like, yep, I'm being careful, one thing at a time, because you never know. You never know what sort of like burly thing might make its way over. So here, this one's kind of an awkward pull because there's like a lot of dudes, but that's where the loader comes in, does tons of damage to that one extra mob, and otherwise handling the Dark Caster just fine. Then grab like these two things a little bit. Being careful. That's all it is. Being very, very careful. Here I wasn't. I got cocky. And you can see like the cost of being cocky. Like I'm taking big damage there. You idiot. I should have just got like the one. I should have got the one guy first. So like one more. So clearing up to the boss, new problem. Very. How'd that guy teleport? Why'd he teleport? Oh well. And then boss time. So the things to worry about here are there are three kinds of casts. There's the web bolt, I think, is what it's called. There's shackles, and then there's a curse. The one that I don't like the most is the shackles because it makes you move a little bit slower and you deal less damage. And it does damage to you too. So that's the one that I decided. I think that's like the nastiest of them all because I don't want to put myself in a position where I can't maneuver out of that minecart thing because then I'd feel like an idiot. But you can see here I am taking some pretty big damage, more than I wanted to because the dude's doing melee, does lots of casts, which is like okay, so he's not meleeing me, but the casts they nuke pretty hard. Too bad and then Brand died too. So I'm like, okay, let's change things up because I can do that. You know, those rules are allowed. Oh, I should show you the curios that I used to. Hold on. Nope. So I use. So I'm using, okay, you can't really see it, but I'm using Time Lost. That gives you a random speed up, kind of a mini Bloodlust. And I'm using whatever this thing's called, Porcelain Arrowed Idol. That gives increased crit chance for 5 seconds. I don't know how often those things go out, but I'm like, this seems to be the best thing. And it's passive and it's kind of easy to use. So there we go. And I figured to myself, you know what? Maybe the potions will be enough. And the occasional whatever heal that Brand does on me. So let's go. Did I hit fort? I did hit fort. do I have shadow thing on? You know, I think in the other run that I did, for a while I didn't have my shadow fiend, or I didn't have my shadow form up because yeah, I'm not good at this class. But yeah, the potions here, they kind of shut down a lot of what the boss does. I just need to make sure that I'm moving my ass and I'm grabbing these potions. I was hearing something about how it's possible to time the potions in such a way that Bran could just keeps pooping out potions like all the time. I don't know how that works. I'm sure that they're going to fix that, so I'm not even going to bother looking into it because they'll fix it. And then people will get mad. So why bother? Just get good and work with what we got. But yeah, it's mostly thanks to the potions that I'm able to be like, okay, I can handle this shit, no problem. So like, there you go, full life, easy. I don't know if it's percentage or not. If it's value, then I can see how it fills me up, how it fills up my HP pretty quick. Because as a tank, like it fills me up a lot, but not as much as it didn't bring me to full though. But this got a lot more comfortable. Nice and chill. Don't know how to use cooldowns, but whatever. Still learning my class. And there you go. Clear to 7. 22 minutes or so. 540 item level. No enchants, no no drums or external buffs or whatever, aside from fort. And that was it. So that's how you do it. That's how, and just as kind of a control, I went and tried to take on Zekfir super hard mode. Yeah, he fucked me up. I wasn't really trying. I just wanted to see what kind of melee swings I would take. He still does like the full value damage, and that's fine. I'll gear up. I'll eventually get it, or I'll just or maybe I can just keep slamming at it and see if I can get lucky with Bran. Procking good shit, but I'm not in a rush for it. Okay, let me get caught up with chat again. Tier 8 delve with my 602 Warlock and the last boss will kill me. I'm probably bad. I've been soloing with my Hunter since Cataclysm. I think that it's great they're making content for solo players to keep your gear relevant for us to join or participate in raids or mythic quests to help friends or guild or just play around. And that's the big thing. Just play around. I think that's the biggest takeaway is that they created an endgame for world content people. Yeah, that's what they mean about an alternate endgame. I did a 5 at like 521. Nice. Why do I feel like the heroic raiders are banned to do any delves? Lol. Not playing a pal. Yeah, I know. What nameplates am I using in this video? I'm using Plater. It's a custom. It's a custom one that I downloaded and then I slowly started butchering it and changing some things around. I don't think I changed it that much actually. Halo isn't good for Shadow Weaver. Anyone know what the fuck happened with cloth drops? I haven't had a single drop in an hour. Tip for the underwater delve: be a warlock or find a warlock, or be undead. That helps too. Did your first tier 8 this morning? Nice. How's my day going? It's going good. I've been having a good day so far. Max out textile tree and nothing. That's odd. I mean, can't get on, so couldn't tell you. Let me give thanks to folks really quick, because folks had... Let's see, what's been going on. So, thank you to Shadowstorm for subscribing. Thank you to Dave Home. Thanks to CMHCTH. Thank you for gifting. Thank you to Darkwalker. Thank you for DM Bergman. Nice. Thank you. Also, thanks to Micho and Snookered and Puddle. Thank you, guys. Oh, I feel bad. There's a dude named Fierce Joy that gave out subs, but I was not on, so they did not get credit towards getting their pet. Oh, that sucks. I feel bad for them. Spores are great for killing low mobs. Are you talking about Fungal Folly? Fungal Folly is dope. What are your thoughts on Blizzard incorporating Torghast into delves? I can absolutely see them tie together in future iterations. I have no thoughts right now, because Torghast is an arcadey kind of feel, where so little matters. Like your class didn't, okay, it did matter, but once you got your powers, then you just kind of like ran away with it, and you weren't exactly playing your class. What I was kind of scared of with delves is Bran being so dominant that you wouldn't be playing the delve, you're playing Bran. And while there is an argument or a discussion to be had there, I felt like I'm playing my class more than taking advantage of Bran. So far. As for Torghast in delves, I don't see it being a thing. Or I don't see it adding anything awesome or fulfilling. How'd you get so many max upgraded curious? I got none across the 28 bountiful delves I did at 7s and 8s. Luck. Just luck. Of course, it was my bountiful my first day, and I got a 2-hander on my frost DK. Oh, that sucks. Forgetting to put shadow form back on after death is normal. You're cool. Oh, thank God. Because that's embarrassing, dude. That's really embarrassing. Thank you to Ari. Thank you for gifting, dude. There's a vault relic that causes them to throw potions when you use a potion. All right. Yeah. It has like a greater chance when you use a potion, when you pick up a potion, that he drops another one. Yeah. Might be a dumb question, but did Zekfir get nerfed? Not that I know of. I mean, like I said, I ran into a Zekfir just to kind of like see if things feel different on my main, and no, he annihilated me. Based off how reasonable it seems, something might be horribly busted with a 2% scaling then. Wife and I were doing a Delve 8 together last night, and the elites were taking like 3 to 4 minutes with cooldowns. Not the boss, is just a random wandering elites lol. It could be that. I got one curio from the bountiful chest that the arrow, that was the arrowhead one he just mentioned that came. Realistically, how many keys can a person get a week? For Delve keys, you can earn 4 from the 4 activity chests. So just do, 4 things. And then at least from world quests, which is the other source, you could probably get another one. From that, you can do a Radiant Echoes or a bunch of Radiant Echoes, just do all of them based on doing nothing but bountiful delves, or expending all your keys on bountiful delves, and you'll basically get like 20 something, fewer than 30, but like approximately 20 something coffer keys or coffer fragments, to make a key. So you'll be able to get another one at least. So that's 4, 5. That's like 6. I guess. Maybe more. There is going to be a Delve holiday coming up. I'm not quite sure what the details are on that. Maybe you get a lot more coffer keys or some shit like that. So. Have I dropped Paladin? Yeah, right. I make WoW seem so easy. I honestly don't believe that. I don't believe that I'm playing this Shadow Priest very well at all. So that's why I'm kind of puzzled. Like I said, I don't want this to be nerfed because there may be other things at play that I don't quite realize, but I don't believe that me just being good is one of them. I feel like something got imbalanced there. That's why I'm like just kind of like, huh? Should I have gotten this so easily? I don't know. I set in the webs instead of dodging all the cards. I don't even know if they do damage or something like that. So I'm like, I'm just gonna be here. Thank you for running the Delve on Shadow. I feel so much better. Would you happen to know the player profile you're using? I don't. And, can't get in game, so I couldn't tell you. Fishing poles that give underwater breathing. Oh yeah, that's right. I remember seeing that tip too. Put on the old Kalawak fishing thing. Now, of course, if you don't have it, I'm not gonna tell you to go out and get it because that's a bit much. But if you happen to have it, that's pretty broken. So, Torghast's song was too gimmicky to be main content. I like Torghast as an option to break up the day. No, they didn't get too easy. I believe you. I believe the life sentence. Not sure about Zephyr, but the lieutenant shouldn't be randomly dropping in anymore. Yeah, I'm not seeing it. I mean, and I'm just doing 7s anyway. I hope they raise the difficulty. Well, just do harder delves. If you want to raise the difficulty, just raise the. I mean, are you telling me that 11s are too easy? I guess that's feedback. I don't think 11s are too easy. I think 11s are a sweaty nightmare. Like it took me a while to do. There's an immortal achievement. If you clear an 11 without dying at all, you get an achievement. So I'm like, oh, cool, I want to get that. And so I got it. It took a while, though. I was doing Fungal Folly. So what I was doing as a paladin, I was like just kind of bombing mobs with the spore things. And utilizing my crowd control to keep mobs in there or pop in an immunity and just kind of like suicide bombing. And boom, blow everything up. But there were like two times where I would just get one shot by the last boss because I'd get clipped by his fungal storm, or I would like run over the green stuff, or I would clip the green stuff that's on the ground, and I'd just get one shot. I'm like, fuck. Even then, it still only takes me 20 minutes to get to the boss. So I was able to get a good number of attempts, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna get this. It's gonna roll. Dude's gonna die, and eventually it rolled over. So. It'd be fun to have aspects of previous expansions show up in delves. Maybe one delve could work like an Island Expedition, and one could act like Horrific Vision. They would have to keep up with current power scaling requests. It would be nostalgic. I think people would get pissed immediately, Sweet. And here's why. Sorry, coffee first. Island Expeditions are on a timer. Torghast is also, at least in terms of score, is on a timer. So there's immediately going to be this go 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 mentality. If they say, "Oh yeah, we're gonna theme it back to this," I mean, because how else do you experience an Island Expedition other than with a timer? Maybe we'll rephrase what you're talking about here. Maybe there should be not this expansion, because these 11 delves, as far as I know, we're not going to see anymore. But new delves maybe could be more open-ended. Maybe they could be like kind of like outdoorsy areas that don't have like a path like this, but it'll feel as if it's like, oh, it's an outdoor questing area, but it's not really. They just call it a delve. And then you do stuff. So it could be like that. And that could have like its own different format. I mean, what we're seeing here are lots of, we're seeing numerous different kinds of objectives, which essentially sum up to proceed to the end of the delve, beat up a bad guy at the end, get your reward. There are only like, I think I've done just about every story. But then there are very few, if any, that don't have like a final boss at the end to defeat. So you could argue that they kind of like skimped on the variety a little bit by not having that. But I just want to, see more variety. So I agree with you there. Give me more variety of stuff. I think framing that suggestion with keywords like Torghast and Island Expeditions, I think that taints the suggestion, because it's gonna immediately trigger some folks. People be like, nope, just nope. But I trust that the team is thinking of other stuff too, because it gives them the opportunity for that, and that's dope. And I almost think that the 4% drops of the map is legit. I don't know. Because that was just data that's been pulled from Wowhead, right? Like according to their calculations and according to like what the add-on, what their not data mining. It was more like their add-on feedback that was giving that 4% chance. It could be because that's according to people who use that Wowhead thing. They have enough Torghast and delves already. I'd rather play my class and learn it better than use the environment, I think, through them. And give us mythic rewards. Nah, Nicholas, like I was talking about that earlier. If delves were made to be harder and they would give mythic rewards, then it would bring the raiders and the mythic plus people into delves, and they would give their feedback, and that would not be good. I don't think that would work out. Not remembering shadow form happens more often, especially if you use the glyph that makes you less shadow. Yeah, that's what I'm using. Like he just uses the thing that just has like the lines and stuff. So I took a break to get gear from Nomori before I did my tier 8 this week, then immediately got the same gear. Typical, right? How many times have I run into Zekvir in the delves? Not too many. I'd say like 5 times total out of all the delves that I've done, and I've done about I think the other day I finally got the achievement that to do 100. So maybe that's a lot of delves. I don't know. I'm the definition of a casual solo player. MO delve should be tuned for players like me. Now that's the gamer's Bible. I think this character, yeah, my priest, while leveling, I ran into Zekvir. I'm like, you asshole. And then Zekvir was like, fresh meat. And he smited me. And then as a consolation, he gave me a little curio thing. I'm like, this thing sucks. Boo, refund. So you did the memory thing. You got 122 coffer key shards. Yeah, so you basically get like one more. Higher tiers could solve the difficulties raised by the Super Duper Elite. No, I would rather have the Super Duper Elite stay out. Don't come. Great tip for when playing the class you aren't used to playing. Press buttons and hope for the best. Well said. Hey Saul, now that we've seen the delve cycle will be, how would you want to see it approached in future seasons? Like, do you want to see all the season 1 delves rotated out or simply have a few new added? Well, as far as I know, these delves that we're seeing, this is it. We're going to keep seeing these until the end of time, but then there might be new stories. There might be new, different kinds of encounters that we'll see, as well as a new follower. So we're gonna ditch Bran, peace out, and we're gonna. I haven't really sat down to think about like what the season transition is gonna be like, because the new follower, no doubt, is gonna be level 1, and then we gotta level them up again by doing whatever. And I have a feeling it's gonna work out the same way. Cool. So could be that. You know, all the delve keys that we have right now, they'll get sharded or turned into gold or something like that, and then we start all over again. Yeah, mostly makes sense in my brain. Honestly, people should be glad that Blizzard keeps making changes to make delves better, because it shows that they're committed to making delves a good endgame pillar. No, Chris, no. The right way to phrase this is, look at Blizzard. They're so desperate. They're changing it every day because they don't know what they're doing. Come on, man. You gotta get with the gamer, lingo here, dude. No, he is right. Like, they're, surprise, surprise, they want it to work. Delves should feel closer to the class WoW vibe, where you need to carefully think about how you handle mobs, cooldowns, and so on. It's close to that feeling, and I'm fairly happy to be able, able it so far. I mostly know what you're saying. It's fine. I would have been happier if they actually tested delves in beta. We did. I did. And to be honest, it doesn't feel that different. Now, I only tested it on my tank, mind you. I tested it on my tank. When I did, I forget what levels that I did. I was able to unlock, I think I got as high as 10. I never bothered trying to unlock 11s. And my item level was fixed. So I was able to do tier 10s. I'm sorry, tier 9s, I guess, at the time. And my item level was, I think, set to like 610, 613 or something like that. So it's higher. It's higher than what I am now. And we have people who are giving feedback based on their item level, 590, 580 character. Oh my god, I can't do 11s. This is stupid. Blizz, nerf. But we did test it. Yeah, we did test it. Hell, the beta still works, I think. You can test it now if you want, if you're in the beta. Anyone else have a problem with not being able to loot sturdy chests yesterday? Remember, sturdy chests are just one-time things. If you're talking about these delve chests, that's different. But, they're the sturdy chests that are throughout the delve, those are one-time things. Maintenance was extended another hour. That's fine. I kind of, figured that already. Drinking coffee is the reason people get pissed? No way. Keep the aesthetics, but keep to the current delve formula. They hide us solo players in caves. Yes, let us. Delves plus containing old zones like Darkshore, maybe. I mean, it'd be cool to go into delves that are like in totally different spots. But the whole idea, you know, part of the foundation of delves is that it feels like a natural thing that you just walk into, as if it's outdoor content, but you go inside this area and then ooh, look, adventure. I don't want to walk my ass all the way over to Darkshore just to do a delve because it happens to be one of the bountiful ones. I'd be like, dude, I don't want to do that. Am I playing the video servers are down for another hour? Yeah, I heard about that. It would be pretty cool if one delve was like tainted by the memories of Azeroth and thus involved like transplanted spaces from old expansions. Are delves easier now? It seemed... I think so. If someone on European realms wants to try out their Shadow Priest in delves and see if they run into the same thing, because... yeah. Possible future delve exclusive loot? They already have exclusive loot, though. There are enough boosters in the game already. I don't want delves to be another boost option. They've been a boost. Dude, there's a boost option for everything. Come on, there's boosting for leveling. It's like... if there's a thing that someone can pay for, you know, they can pay someone to do it for them, like, there's always going to be a market. Always, always, always. Taking the theme and setting from islands without any of the system mechanics would be nice. Yeah, so just an outdoor delve. But it's an island. But the thing is, you have to go to the island. So we would be restricted to Dorne, right? If you just wanted to have a actual island. Because remember, that's a big thing about delves, is that you just go into it. If you get instanced into it, which is kind of sort of the same thing, or if you queue up for it, then it's no longer a delve, right? You kind of lose a little bit of that. But I see what you're saying. You know, a lot of folks, even me, like wanted island expeditions we could just explore and do stuff in, and like that's it. Give me a goal, let me farm it up, and then when I'm done, I leave, or I just like hang around. Sure. I just got to 100 as well. Never seen him though. You never seen him. The butcher feeling it. Wow. Yeah, that motherfucker comes up in the most inconvenient times. While I was doing the immortal stuff, motherfucker popped up. I was like halfway through Fungal Folly. I'm like, okay, this is good. I managed to crush the lieutenant pack, no problem. And then this motherfucker pops up, fresh meat, and he just crushed me. It was mostly mental. I was mentally discouraged, seeing like this motherfucker, and I just got mad, and then he killed me, and then I got more mad, and then I called Blizzard. I'm like, dude, can you nerf this thing? And they're like, yeah, sure. Anything for you, Breezy. No, just kidding. They were watching. They just did it. I didn't have to call them. I expect there will be 3 Mora's delves in each zone as they add new zones. Maybe they'll add delves. I thought I heard that they were not going to add them. Maybe I misheard or missed something or whatever. How far am I in the season journey? I don't know. I haven't looked. I think I'm like maybe 2 bulbs in. 2 of those segments. I'm a little ways in. Now, if you want to progress through the season track faster, at least from the looks of it, just have more alts and run more bountiful delves, because bountiful delves seem to be the way that you progress down the season path, and if you have more alts and get more keys, then you'll progress faster. Now, as for what that gets you, nothing to sweat over. You get rewards, you get cosmetics. Further down the line, you can start buying bountiful keys, but you buy it with undercoins. which is the currency that you get when you clear bountifuls, which is to say, it doesn't mean you can buy unlimited keys, but it does suggest that you can take your extra undercoins and funnel them to the character of your desire, and have them have like a bunch of bountiful keys if you want to do that. So too easy, too hard. Wow, this is why Blizzard can't figure out what they want Dells to be. The player base doesn't even fucking know. How about we just enjoy what we got and stop analyzing? Because we're having fun talking about it. He's right though. Like, it's, you can't balance these, or there's a lot of difficulty in balancing Dells because there are different Delve stories, and there are so many different classes and specs. And how do you balance that, knowing that people are also going to form parties with these different classes and specs, and try to tune it right? You know, it's kind of what happens when you have role agnostic stuff. You need to find more inventive ways to challenge players, or to challenge like each of the classes, but also still make them doable. What's going on with Delve seasonal progression? Nothing, no changes that I know of. How do I feel about Delve rewards and new currency? Seems underwhelming. I think it's fine. I think it's very good. And here's why. One, you get gear. You get gear, not, Delve specific gear. It's not just cosmetics. You get stuff, you get full cosmetic ensembles. You get, shit that you can buy. You get stuff that just randomly drops every now and then. There's reasons to go back in over and over and over again. With things that you can. Ooh, sorry about that beeping sound. Yeah. You'll have to be specific, I guess, Brian, because underwhelming as a word doesn't mean anything. It's a purely emotional word. Like what don't you like, or what seems underwhelming about it? And do you feel the reward bar is obtainable by the end of the season? Yeah, absolutely. Just keep going. I mean, we've got a couple months, right? I'm not asking for a weapon to drop with the same 2 trinkets over and over and over, right? I've been having fun, though, with the Dells after the weekend of hotfixes. I got all my 8 characters for the vault and 599 between Dells, Raid Finder, and a single Mythic 0. Nice. Tatsu guy in chat that has 4 backs in a row from his Dells. No, I'm the same way. Necks are my jam. I've been getting lots and lots of necks that I don't need anymore, including one from Delver's Bounty. So it's a hero neck. I'm like, oh, cool. And then I'm getting more necks. I'm like, motherfucker. Do I think Dells are too easy? I think my Shadow Priest, very, very specifically, Michu, I think this experiment with taking a low-level Shadow Priest through Delves was easier than I expected. But do I think they're too easy? No. I don't want them to do any immediate changes just because of the feedback that I'm giving. No way. Because I'm me. I'm not you. I'm not any of y'all. We all play at like different skill levels, and for some folks, they're going to be like, oh yeah, this is way too easy, blah, blah, blah. So they need to change it. But then there are other folks who are like, I'm struggling like fuck. Because there's a lot of folks out there who do not do dungeons, they do not do raids. This is the first time they've encountered an experience like this that doesn't have like this gimmicky ass Torghast power to rely on. I mean, they have Brand, which is cool, but they don't have the Torghast power to rely on that'll just let them cheese stuff. And I think what the WoW team needs to mostly do is listen, get more of this feedback. I'm giving feedback, other people are giving feedback, but they shouldn't just listen to me, and they definitely should not ignore, but consider where the feedback is coming from, because there's a primary audience, and maybe it's not exactly me, but there's definitely like they're definitely trying to make an end game for folks who up until now did not feel like they had one beyond. Oh, better show up for the Super Bloom. Woo! Made it. Got my veteran gear. What do I do now? Old content, because there's nothing to really challenge them. So, yeah. Do I have John Blizzard's home phone number? It's Jeff Blizzard, actually. I know we're barely in war with him, but I'm curious what's going to happen in Midnight and Last Titan. What we're going to... I keep thinking of feet. Sorry, I got distracted by feet all of a sudden. They have to add more delves in this expansion if we've mostly conquered them at this point. Well, here's the thing. Like, up until now... Well, let's keep in mind, like, this is the first time they're doing this. They're letting it... They're still cooking, right? But what are we used to? WoW gamers, we're used to running the same ass shit over and over and over and over again. Now, I would love for them to not make the same mistake. No, I guess we could call it a mistake. I would like for them to learn the lessons that they learned before, especially with like, what's it called? With dungeons, and start rotating seasonal dungeons and all that stuff. But I'm not so sure about delves. It can be... Now, delves have an opportunity where they can add new stories, and I think that's what they're going to do. Maybe they'll add a new delve. Because here's the thing. What if they added 3 more? We could wave our flag and say, hey, they added 3 more. But then how long would it take for that to get old? I mean, people are saying that they're old after like a week or 2. So there's only so much that there's only so much that Blizzard would be able to add in the course of like a major patch or a major tier that wouldn't result in us feeling the same way anyway. So I think the better direction to go is to add more stories, because those, I would argue, are easier to design and test and make up and all that stuff. So new delves, whatever. New stories, better idea. Doing both would be ideal, but I have a feeling that the WoW team needs to make choices and decide like where to put their resources into. And I think they're going to most likely stick to stories. Maybe like one or 2 delves at most in like new zones. They could have a delve where you find a portal or a thing that takes you to an island or a different place. They could, yeah. For all we know, the new zone might be in an island. It might be underground. It might be in space. You know, who knows? Is the only way to upgrade Brand at level 15 only by doing bountiful delves? Yes, you got to do bountifuls. I'm not going to lie, the 580 gear you can buy is way too late. It's going to take forever, and by that time, it's not going to be useful for all. The 580 gear you can buy is way too late? Huh? I must have missed something. What do you mean by that, Dad? Oh, you're talking about the things on the delve track. Got it. I kind of agree with that. I don't recall if that gives transmog, because that'd be a big deal for me. But there's also like, man, there's so much gear you can get between random ass warband stuff you can get, the different BOEs for like starting adventurer gear. You get hooked up. So like what does this guy have? Like, so the things that were hand-me-downs: neck, chest, gloves, weapon. Oh, that was wrist. Sorry, and gloves there. So five hand-me-downs for my cloth user. Now, of course, that's just one character. Some of us have like approximately a bajillion alts. Thanks, Remix. So I don't think it's gonna get zero use, but I can see where it's like, hey, for me, this is for me, it's lame. I'm like, okay, I hope it unlocks transmog. If it doesn't, I'm definitely not gonna use that. But for some people, it's like, oh, dude, thank God. I can't get enough like hand-me-down gear or whatever. And I have like all these different undercoins or whatever they're called. Yeah. So maybe it's not for us. I agree. Too much worry about other people's gear. You're not raiding with them. They're not raiding with you. Like there's a point where we just got to leave each other alone because we're not giving useful feedback. It's like some people will say to me, dude, so why are you giving feedback on this and this? You don't even play that certain mode, you know. And to a certain extent, they're right. But I'll still give commentary every now and then. I'd be fine with delves if there was no hero gear or gear was, or I would be fine with delves if there was no hero gear. Why is that? Or if it was purchased with undercoins. So it's less a matter of do higher delves. It's more just keep doing bountifuls no matter what, and then just farm your way up for it. Because like there's a merit to persistent gameplay versus merit based gameplay, and by that I mean, hey, let me just keep grinding this to get the gear versus, oh, if I play well, then I can get this higher level gear. People care more about other people's gear than their own. Oh, we love that. Come on, it's the that's the thing, though. That's the internet. That's everything these days. People care so much about what other people think about things, and then they will judge them for it. Like, I will say that, what was it called? I forgot the name of the series. The Star Wars thing with the twin acolyte. So I thought it was cool. I'm not a very critical thinker on Star Wars stuff, by the way, but I thought it was cool. But within that community, holy shit, there's like it's like civil war in there. People are like at each other's throats. They want to freaking kill each other because of what they think, and yeah, it is some toxic shit going on over there. Is the season bar obtainable? Yes. Just keep delving. Am I Filipino? Yes. Can you get tier from the Dell Great Vault slots? You can get tier from any Great Vault slot. It just kind of randomly happens. First week of the expansion, all that dropped for me were trinkets. It took 17 hours of heroics to finally start replacing my greens. Oh, that's rough. To replace my greens, I just upgraded them until they turned blue. Oh, that's the magic. I'm at the second rewards already after the first week. The bar is definitely doable. Rings I seem to get a lot of. Give me rings, dude. I have really crappy rings, man. Was your guild able to clear the raid on normal or even heroic? We managed to get to the last boss of normal. Took a little while to get past the second to the last one, and then once we mastered phase 1 of the last boss, I was like, all right, we're good with this. And then some people were like, hey, we can do the first boss of heroic and see if we can get some gear. And my thought process was, I'm not going to spend like an extra hour to like make attempts or to kill this one boss, so that way 3 people can get gear. So I told everyone, do delves. Whoever hasn't done delves, I'll help people right now. Let's go. And because that's for the purpose of just getting the extra gear, that's the leader call. that's the raid lead, making a decision there. But yeah, we're almost done with normal. Normal gear is, keep in mind, normal item level is like 600 or so, and most everyone on my team at the time, they were like in the 580s, some in the 590s. So we're getting there. A lot of people that can do tier 7 but struggle tier 8, that's fine. The amount of transmogs and just fun things to collect with the new currency, there's maybe 2 or 3 pages to blend recolors that could have been more flavor, and just more quantity. I think we could say that no matter what. We would keep saying that phrase, Brian, until we get to the point where, until we get to like a certain breaking point, and then instead we'll say, oh my god, Blizz, there is like way too much stuff to farm for. It's been like 2 weeks and I don't even have anything close to it. I'm not even sure if I'm gonna get everything. We need buffs to the currency. We need more. So we would easily run into that sort of conversation too. And so the WoW team gets to make a choice. Do they work that much harder to get people to say the same thing anyway, just kind of like, but feel differently? Or do they come out with what they came out with? So all the people that I've heard state that it's easier fundamentally relying on cheese, and most were brand bugs. You know, I'm gonna let this footage play again in the background while I just chat. So for those who haven't seen this footage, because I've been stuck on this footage, this is my 540 Shadow Priest doing a tier 7 delve. It's the first delve that I've done on a Shadow Priest that I just leveled, and I don't know how to play him for shit. But yeah, I'll just let that run. I like delves. They have forced me to use most of my buttons on multiple classes. And I think that's the coolest part. I think that's the coolest part about delves, is that depending on the situation, it's going to encourage you to hit buttons that you're not used to ever pressing, especially if you don't do like group content. You know, I have a feeling this is a perspective I don't understand fully, so maybe chat can chime in. You know, there are a good number of players out there who just do world content, who still don't quite know their class. You know, they don't know what like a rotation really means because they never had to use it. They never had to feel like they had to optimize their certain spell casts. And that's one of the things that makes me go back to like, hey, you know what? That's something that I feel like is lost in the 20 years of WoW. Because I remember before, dude, playing as a warlock, I'd be able to get like this many shadow bolts off before I needed to hit life tap. I was able to life tap this many times before I was running out of resources, and then I need to drink or something like that. So because of that downtime, because every pull felt like a little encounter, this kind of brings me back to it. At least at the level that I'm playing here. It's no longer let me just tap everything because everyone's tapping everything and now we're all like just AoEing everything down because it's quote easier. And this sort of brings back this classic. So people who play classic, they'll look at this and be like, why are you guys saying this is hard? This is not hard. I'm just playing the way that I would in like TBC by using crowd control, by using this and that, and and otherwise pulling one mob at a time, get good, retail people or whatever. So, one could make that kind of argument. It's not easy, but it's not a Mythic 15 level. I'm not a Raider or Mythic Plus player, so I have it in the vault, and a few alts around 595 Armor feel sad. Yeah, no, this is cool. I like this. Am I looking forward to the vault? Yeah. Like, I have the normal raid vault filled up. I have a bunch of hero gear in the delve row. So I thought Jeff Blizzard left because of that one dude from Activision that was awful. No, 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 no. There are numerous Jeffs. Jeff's a very common name. I honestly wonder what's going to happen with talents in the next 2 planned expansions. Great question. I wonder. Part of me wonders, dude, seriously, if they're going to have, like, you know, we have hero talents, and then we'll have hero talents, the Midnight Edition, and then hero talents, the Last Titan Edition. I doubt it. But that also wouldn't surprise me too much either. I have Jeff Blizzard's. Okay, there we go. Maybe add heroic level delves or mythic difficulty in the future. No, I'm trying to personally. I'm trying a pretty hard line with. We don't need heroic delves. It has scaling difficulty. It doesn't need to be harder. I'm very firm on this belief that if we make them rewarding enough, you're going to get the raiders and the Mythic Plus people to jump in on this, and they're going to, and their feedback is going to control. Their feedback is going to risk controlling how balancing works, and I think that is not going to be good for what I consider is the main audience, which is people who are looking for some new end game that they never had before. Not everything needs to be for the Raiders and the Mythic Plus people. Not everything has to be for the end game people. So, as much as that might put you off or offend you or whatever, too bad. You can't have, not everything is for you. I'd like a full Blackrock depths on tier 8. Ugh, that's a big no. That's a big ass no from me. They could just keep adding more tiers to the delves. No need for heroic or mythic. I don't think they don't need to do that either, though, dude. Like, just like how, like, they don't add more key levels to Mythic Plus. You know, they just do this kind of item level reset. The delves get harder. By a bit. You know, everything gets bumped up a little bit. From World Quest content to drops from rares and all that stuff. So, you know, people are going to get hooked up. I hope we get a new area that becomes with a delve or two. Maybe. They'll probably do 2 delves in the new patch zones, or maybe a new delve where the tip of the sword is. Brand level up at all if you've done 28 Bountiful delves on the week. In the week on your warband. How many keys you get per week? Something like 6, maybe 7. That's between doing your weekly content. Yeah, between doing your weekly content and raiding echoes. And world quests and stuff. I think remix leveling is why they ended up nerfing so much stuff right before the game went live. Lol. A bunch of gear is warbound, so you can use it on alts. The 580 undercoin pieces are variations of the delve gear. Okay. I'm happy to be done with my gear in my main. Now I can hop on alts faster and play more. I was really, I was quite pleased with, you know, when I was doing the raid, that Raid Finder Warbound stuff would drop. And, you know, even when doing Raid Finder Warbound stuff will drop. I think that's cool. I can't wait for delves to be obsolete for getting into the season. I'm just not a fan of them at all. I find them really boring. Yeah, so don't do them. Yeah, once you're ready to move on, Red Link, move on. Do the thing that you like doing. 100%. Go. Go, 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 go. I've gotten nasty whispers because I bought the new store mount. It's my hard-earned money. If you don't like the store mounts, you don't have to buy them. You know what they are? They're just jealous. That's really it. They're just jealous. If you want a bear that has a... Actually, let me ask you, Victor. The vendor person, is it like an NPC kind of thing? Or is it just something you click on and it activates, or what? Because, yeah, since there's no actual, like, vendor person who talks to you and stuff. Hi, Ghostface. Can you not please the Stormwind fan base? The Stormwind's fan base? Would you be more excited for new hero talent specs like a Void Theme Paladin hero talent set, the 4 spec for each class, or new classes? That's tough. I like new talents. They're always fun. I'm personally cool with hero talents as they are right now. Like, they seem entertaining enough. I don't know. I don't know what direction they're gonna go. Are they going to make the hero talent trees longer? That could be a thing. But I'm not so. I wouldn't be so happy with them tying new talents to just the hero specs, because some people that are going to decide to only care about one hero spec, and they're not going to really see everything that's being offered. So I kind of would like to see I tentatively would want to see like an expansion to the base heroes, to the base talents, not hero talents, but the base talents. But I know that becomes really cumbersome really fast. So part of me thinks maybe they should just make another thing, and maybe don't call it a hero spec or a hero talent tree. I think naming it like that was just a big fucking mistake. They shouldn't have done that. But I do like what they're doing with this whole segmented, by segmenting like new talents into this totally selectable thing instead. Soul commanding his people to the Delve Mines. I'd like tank specs for more classes. It'd be fun. It'd be fun from a, hey, let's just try this. It's something different. But, you know, there's a big conversation to be had about folks really wanting tank queues to be better, or the availability of tanks to be better, or to just make tanking more fun, I guess. But then there's that kind of risk. It's like if there's too many tanks, then people are going to have a very, very hard time getting into tanking because there's only so many spots for those sorts of things. And then they'll feel like they have to DPS anyway. Currently, there's a fair argument to make that tanking just doesn't feel fun, and that makes people not want to tank because it's a thankless job. You don't get to stop meters or, you know, something like that. A Dell spec for every class is an intriguing idea. I don't think I'd want that. At least, you know, but my immediate reaction is, I don't think I'd want there to be a Delve specific specialization for every class, because then that kind of alters our sense of like what is the gameplay, like what is, yeah. It would feel disconnecting. Like having something like Brand, that would be that would be kind of the closest thing. I think this is the other one. Nope, that's not it. That is me playing shit. I think it was this one. There we go. I'll have this one playing now. If they add a new class, I hope we can use ranged weapons. It's crazy that it's crazy. It is crazy. I really figured that they were going to add a ranged weapon class at some point. I mean, what have we had over the years? We've had everything being added, you know, all sorts of roles and being added, but we took one range spec away. Which is kind of funny. You know what I want? I want a two-handed shield. That's what I want. I want a two-handed shield, or to dual wield shields. Or, I guess, okay. I guess the most logical thing really would be to add another druid spec and to take away Havoc from Demon Hunters, because they need to sacrifice everything. I freed Moss with my Warlock for the first time in like 10 years. How do I do delves on an elemental shaman? You know, I think I would want, you know, I'm gonna walk away for a second. What class should I do next? What class or what spec should I do next with delves to see if, you know, to see how easy or hard delves are? Because y'all said the other day y'all said Shadow Priest was really tough, and this is how it went. So I'm curious, like, what should I do next? I'll be right back. Alright, I like the challenge. Let's see, Mitra says, I like the challenge of staying alive without knowing what I'm doing on new characters. If I press this and that dies, it's awesome. I guess what helped me is that I leveled by doing all the delves. I leveled my Shadow Priest by doing all the delves first. You know, to give myself a little bit of familiarity with how it works and what I can kind of sort of expect from you know, from playing as a Shadow Priest. And it was all, and I did it all in one day. So I did all the delves, so I experienced like one story, effectively. What do you do about the 3 mobs hating on you? You don't let 3 mobs hit you. That's it almost sounds facetious. But yeah, don't let mobs, don't put yourself in a situation where you're letting 3 mobs hit you. Selling a single trash mob shouldn't do that. Yeah, don't use chain lightning in a delve. That's a bad idea. I'm so behind on chat. I'm sorry, guys. I have 3 rows of buttons. One's for emergencies, one's for single target, and the third is for mobs. I kind of want them to be, instead of making more rows of hero talents, giving us more specs. Like as a Templar, then 81 to 90 being like Templar and the new one. So have you seen the new controversial Shaman Ascendance forms? Would love your opinion. Reddit was outraged. What visual effects in the future are you most looking forward to, hoping for? I thought they look cool. They're like this wild elemental, like it had this Bwansamdi kind of look to it. You know, like people were joking that, oh, they look like those troll doll things. I think they look cool. Yeah. I think people are just dogpiling on something to talk shit on because that sounds fun to do. But I think they look cool. Who will our Dell partner in season 2 be? Xalatath. Calling it. Elite Raiders, high key runners are the minority, but the loudest, just an observation. They are, and also they're not going to be people who live in delves. So while feedback is important, you know, their feedback should only be taken into a certain consideration that, you know, they're just doing it for the gear so they can get better gear so that they can move on. They'll abuse the system for gear because it'll be easier way to gear. I mean, that's why delves are under the glasses, because they can choose the system whenever they can. On a separate topic, how do you feel about the idea of building a 14 style MSQ that takes players through all the dungeons, major dungeons, and raids to give new players the full story? I think Chris, that would be that'd be part of a great scheme to get people to buy boosts. I mean, you think of how WoW players are now, who are obsessed. Sorry, guys. But collectively, a lot of us are obsessed with having a bunch of alts. And a lot of WoW discourse is based, not all of it, but there's a lot of discourse or a lot of attention that we pay with leveling speed. Oh my god, Blizz, it's taking forever to level. This is the worst. Oh my god, I'm only getting so much XP from delves. This is shit. Oh my god, this is the way to level fast, guys. Do dungeons. Go, go, go. Right? So to add a forced MSQ to go through 20 years of the game? Nah, man. That's asking for trouble. That would be entirely like an enrichment sort of thing, which is cool, but it's like, is it worth the investment? It's not worth it for me. Not something I think that I would really feel incentivized to do in almost any situation. I hope with introducing buff or raids in a month, and Dells will upgrade vaults to 1/6 mythic, let's say on no, same. I'm gonna keep saying it every time I see the line. Don't bring myth gear into delves. If you bring myth gear into delves, you're bringing the wrong kind of audience in, and it's gonna fuck everything up. Appreciate the consistent content. Thank you, dude. I'm gonna try to skim because I'm like so far back on chat. Add more talents in the talents, more choices on one talent. I guess something that I wouldn't mind seeing, or something that might be possible, would be if they just added a low. I don't know how they. Never mind. I wouldn't know how to describe this. I'm not quite sure what to do with talents. Gels get too easy for a mage? Hell no. Tanking is very unthankful job. People are huge dicks about it. Shut up. Shut up, Blue. If people were not butts all the time and someone is learning, we might have more tanks. You can make tanking as fun as you want. It's a responsibility that comes with the job. It keeps people from playing tank. And that's part of why I don't play with people. I'm sorry. I don't play with people outside my guild. Because honestly, like in large ways, the greater pug community intimidates me. They scare me, dude. I see so many stories and all that it just makes it not feel fun to. I'll be honest, WoW does not feel fun if you're pugging. It's when you're pugging, it's like all RNG. It's all a roll of the dice. Boy, I hope I get a good group, or I hope I get someone who's not going to get like super mad at me if I screw up and all that. And when things go bad, not all the time is it like a super unpleasant experience if things go bad, the group breaks or something like that, but and that still doesn't feel good. But it just feels intimidating these days. I know Delve 8s give hero gear in the vault. Does it matter if it's bountiful or normal? No, doesn't matter. You can do, by the way, you can do 7s. You can run 7s, and that will get you hero gear. The Brown was just better at his job. Demon Hunter 3rd spec with a ranged weapon would be cool. No, I think they should just take it away. How about a no-handed shield? Oh, that'd be dope. If they just use their arms to just block, that'd be sick. That would be sick. Earth Warden, Shaman, 2 energy. I would have been fond of an Evoker tank like a magic base tank. I think that'd be cool. Not even bother with healing anymore. The use is crazy and in a second with all the crazy pulls. Yep. I'm like trying to be fast now. So a squishy melee. I think so that would be a monk or a rogue. That sucks. Damn it. Because there are some classes that just really I feel really awkward in, as in like I'm just not having fun. Rogue is one of them. I really don't feel like I'm having fun on a rogue or an evoker. Something about them. Maybe I just needed to give it more of a chance, but I just not liking it. Dude, put the candle down and fight. I didn't think of that in the fight. Yeah. So I'm gonna do like a. I want to do like a kind of a delve survival guide. You know, like, hey, here are some tricks. You know, you can use the candle. You can put the candle down so you can not run out of space. You can use the explodey spore things to hurt mobs and stuff. And here's how that works. So I want to do like some general survival tips and all that stuff. But also, you know, basic stuff like use the terrain, use rely on Bran, stop AoEing. Jesus. This isn't a heroic dungeon. I'm just gonna replay it again. I did all 8 delves, no fails on my elemental shaman and my assassination rogue, and it was no problem. Just gotta let Bran. Yeah, I'm sure you gotta let Bran do a lot of the work, and especially with either a feral druid or a rogue, you know, choose your battles. That's a big tip. Choose your battles. So, you also got it to 80 after the massive nerf swing. No, we talked about it last night, Winky, and I get that. It just felt like this was. I'm looking at this like it's too big of a nerf, but I could be wrong. This just felt way too accessible. Unfortunately, there's no way that I can. And I'm not willing to make a new account and, you know, so I can have like a level 15 Bran again. That's a bit much. But I would love to get a better perspective as to like, okay, is it Bran? You know, is a lot of it Bran? Is it a lot of it just because without those nerfs, which is what did we see? What the nerfs were? They were like a little bit less HP on some of these elite mobs. That's it. All this would have added, it would have added another 3 or 4 minutes to the clock. That's it. Otherwise, the result would be the same. Getting to the final boss on any mage spec is fine. As the final boss is the problem with mages if you solo. Yeah, and those are the times where I died when doing these 2 delves. It was the boss because it's like, okay, my self-sustain isn't as good as it could be. A big part of it is my lack of skill with the class and avoiding damage and things like that. But otherwise, Bran makes up for it. I think a lot of people walking into delves where it's the hardest content they've done because they targeted this as outdoor players, so it's causing some swirl around how difficult it should be. Let's see. Just look at the fall anime roster. The season's going to be packed. All I really noticed from this season was Ranma, but that just kind of pushed everything else out of my brain. I find Dallas to be the new Garrison for this expansion, as in it's awesome. Got it. I agree with you, Dennis. You hear that, Dennis D? Big fan of delves and garrisons. There's a shockingly high number of people who just don't even have interrupt keybound. All those people with alt armies who play the auction house, it's like the stock market, would be furious if you made them spend more time leveling. Lol. Playing delves is way harder. Playing a class without healing spells changed my mind. I agree with you on a forced MSQ, but I do think they need to make a condensed MSQ that's optional that new players can do to get a high-level synopsis of the story to date. One thing that I really liked that the WoW team did when coming out with this 11.0 patch is that they did a here's what you missed since the end of the Fourth War. I appreciated that because they helped to get people up to speed with what's going on. I think that's cool. Shadow Priest had problems on the final boss at Earthcrawler. Put 2 types of curses. You can only kick one, if at all, with a long silence. Yes. So, the one that I kicked was the Shackles, because the Curse of Agony thing, whatever. I love the idea of adding delve style scenarios as reenacting moments of lore that would be accessible through Caverns of Time, given another leveling option. So even new players get to do. Oh, that'd be cool. Some Caverns of Time stuff? Oh, that's sick. I've been a tank. I tank occasionally and fucks when you absolutely fucks when you're not perfect as a tank, but they can fuck off on mechanics and then blame the healer. Yeah. The bug community in WoW is miserable. I think I agree, but I just don't see them. I haven't pugged in like forever. So I just kind of listen to what people say. Some folks are like, no, it's easy, it's cool. Other folks, yeah, most folks I'd say, not so much. I was cool that people in Raid Finder were cool with me learning the fight yesterday as a tank. Lol, no pushback, fair criticism. Yeah, right on. I hate getting the merry pranksters in Raid Finder who just want to trigger the white mechanics and soak in all the attention. Yeah, as in like, hey, who do I kick? I should do multi-classing instead of new hero talents. That sounds tremendously more complicated though, Kyler. Yeah, they should just do multi-classing. I mean, if I can summon a Warlock Stone as a Paladin, that'd be sick. That'd be sick. I wouldn't even use anything else with the Warlock stuff. Unless I can have like a Demon Shield pet thing. That'd be sick. Demon Hunter lore is weird right now. It's exceedingly Fel-centric, but we're basically done with the Fel plotline. I'd like to see something like a third spec that is light or void based. Like a Lightforged Demon Hunter kind of person. That'd be kind of cool. I can never get into rogues or mages. Enhance shaman? Could be enhanced shaman. But then you know, even chat here is saying like, well, but then you got self-healing. I'm like, fine. So maybe a mage would be cool, but I feel like mage would be kind of easy because I'd just go frost and I would kite the hell out of everything and be like, ha ha ha, look at all the damage that I'm not taking. And then people would be like, well, it's because you're slowing everything down. I'm like, well, of course, I'm using class mechanics. Let's see. That's exactly why you mentioned rogue. I don't know if that would be an accurate test, though, because I just feel, even when I was doing Horrific Visions, I just felt miserable doing it on the rogue. I just didn't have fun with it. So that's going to be tough. And I don't think it's good feedback to, hey, here's how it was on a class that I just hate. It's worth a watch. Love how in depth they do gaming QA and perspective they do. Like there's a scene where they get into the new town. Okay. Honestly, even at level 38, Bran is lackluster. Maybe I'm using him wrong. He runs into the wall like a lot. I don't even look. I just, as long as I kind of see him on screen, okay, he's there. Now we're going out to 12. Okay. Bran is so on the priest. I'm just kind of pulling regularly to see what happens. But I'd say, like, if you happen, don't open up with a big nuke. I guess the big cheat with the priest is fade. You know, so I can dump my aggro, let Bran do the work and all that stuff. On other characters, the approach is going to be, you know, start the pull and then wait a few seconds. Bran can handle it. He can take a few hits. What are you doing? Popping an opening rotation? If you do that, then you're just going to end up face tanking the whole time. And that might not work out for you. But also things like, you know, stun CCs. When casts are going off and you're melee, run the fuck away. You know, if you know you're going to get hit, or if it's casting on Bran while the cast is going off, run away. Be far. That way you're getting hit less. So I guess there are like some, you know, there's some basics to cover here. Delves allow me to escape the pug community. That's cool. What's my rotation like? on the Shadow Priest? God, what do I open up with? I'd open up with the Misery thing, so I use like Vampiric Touch, which also applies Shadow Word Pain. And again, with the Priest, I'm able to kind of open up because I can hit Fade whenever. So sometimes I would just kind of open up a little bit hard. Now, if in case I'm fighting multiple ads, I might throw down a dot. That's it though. But then I'll leave the other target alone, and then just focus back on the original mob that I was going for. Delve 8 was definitely hardest on Rogue. You really have to have patience with CC and whatnot. I think Delves are in a bit of trouble. I think there needs to be more high-level crests dropping in Delves, because after 2 weeks of Delves, I have 606 item level and all champion gear. So all that's left is to upgrade and hope for the Delvers of Bounty. I'll keep saying it. No to myth gear, no to easy gilded crests, because then you're going to get all the sweaty people to come back. And then they'll give their feedback. And there will just be no end to it. Or there'll be no end to the highest level of tier players trying to, and maybe successfully dictating how content works. And we don't need them. Or they don't need us, if I'm part of that group, whatever. Your brand will start getting so strong, I don't think it'll matter, especially with all the nerfs. Wouldn't the fact that you can do a rank 8 on a class you hate prove your point more than if you did it on your paladin? Well, the paladin is one thing. To me, that doesn't like prove anything. You know, if I'm good on my main, I'm good on my main. A Shadow Priest is highly unfamiliar to me. But I happen to like enjoy it well enough. I just was very awkward on it. I haven't played a caster in a long time. What the fuck's Bill's doing to have maintenance extended again? It's only another hour, dude. Some of y'all tripping. Now, if it's not up until like tonight, then we can talk about, you know, another gift of game time or whatever, but it's only been 2 hours, dude. I pull more aggro than my pets most of the time, and that 1-2 minute cooldown heal just isn't enough to get them through a run without lots of patience. My advice is to just hit them and then stop pressing buttons. Except for kill command. This is making me really want to level my priest. Shadow Priest was so much fun in Dragonflight. I thought that about awakening the machine, my Beastmaster Hunter really struggled. So what's left for Delves? Just upgrading your dirigible? Yeah, something like that. A feature quest that, say at 610 overall item level to reset Delves and increase the difficulty could be an answer for people crying about how they're too good for Delves? No. I don't think that's necessary at all. Those people, they could just go to Mythic Plus. Or they can go into raids and stuff. Or they could just run 11s and flex. You know, let them do that. Is this what I'm going to do for the next hour? Am I just going to keep replaying this? You know, I'm going to replay it slowly now. just so it lasts longer, you know? So let's play, we're going to play it at 1x. Let's go. Oh, it feels so sluggish now. But, oh, well, that's more realistic. What are my thoughts on the empty bank bug? I wonder if they'll ever fix it or just ignore forever. Oh, they made a statement a while back saying that they know they obviously acknowledge that there's a problem with it, but they have not been able to nail down how to fix it. And there's been no update since. So those are my thoughts. I'm very positive on delves. I don't know what people are going to be doing them for in about 3 or 4 weeks. Oh, here's some great advice points. It's not our problem. Let's just mind our own business and let folks play how they want to play. If they have their, you know, if people are bitching, let them bitch. You know, and let's listen to that. But let's not try to speak for them. And be like, oh, they're definitely going to be bored. They're definitely not going to make alts and do this over and over again and gear up their 30, 50 characters from all the remix playing and leveling that they've been doing and everything. Yeah, let's just keep listening, you know? I have a feeling all the stuff is gone. So what happens in Hotlanta is, I have no good way to describe it, but when you pull up the guild bank, the game or your client or whatever, it's going to ask the server, hey, give me the list of stuff that's in, that's in my bank, and the game just is not able to, for whatever reason, connect you to that list of stuff. It connects you to a different list of stuff. I have no good analogy for this. All I can say is that your items more than likely are not actually lost. The Delve ramp-up quest could be repeatable at certain animal benchmarks that would satisfy the player base. That would stratify. Stratify? The Delve ramp-up quest could be repeatable at certain animal benchmarks. Delves are basically training grounds for Mythic Plus, etc. Do I need to play that Ian clip again? I think I need to play that Ian clip again. No, I'm not going to play it again. If someone's looking at Delves as, you know, a place to gear up or train for Mythic Plus, I would say that Mythic Zeros are a better place to train for Mythic Plus. So I guess I'll stick to the gearing aspect of it. But no, it's the primary purpose of Delves is not to propel people to greater content. I mean, it's there if they choose to, but that's not the purpose of it. The purpose is to give endgame to people who have never had endgame, which is people who've just been doing world content. Like, think about it like this. During Dragonflight, what was endgame for people who didn't do raids, PvP, or Mythic Plus? Endgame for them was the Super Bloom. It was doing soup. It was doing time rifts. That was their endgame. That's it. They don't want to play with other people. They didn't want to group up. They didn't want to deal with the group finder and all that stuff. Maybe they did raid finder, sure. And like heroic queues, queue content, easy. But otherwise they had nothing. This is what they're getting. And of course it's accessible by different kinds of players, but because it kind of caps out with certain levels and stuff, does that mean that the Raiders and Mythic Plus people, they're like, no, you need to make this content more better for people like us? Maybe not. Ian said it himself. World content players, they've been disserviced. They haven't been given the attention that they would have, could have, should have been over the past 20 some years. So here they are. So who are we to be like, no, they need to make it harder? We don't know how good these players are yet. I don't think we do. Yo, that Earthcrawl mine scenario sucked. Well, here's me doing it as a 540 Shadow Priest, so think of it however you like. I think something like Mage Tower weapons should have been the end all reward for Dell, something to get you running on them on multiple classes to collect all the weapon mogs. The boat skin is cool, but it's one and done. Wasn't that the Mage Tower too? You just finished and like that was it? I mean, the thing with Delves is that it's not just the end game cosmetics that you're going for. You know, it's like, hey, you want hero gear? Okay, here we go. Were you able to get gear from the Mage Tower? Nope. Did you get it from Torghast? Nope. Mostly nope. Tired of Mythic Raiders and sweaty people and wild keys dictating the rest of the game. Nothing was more annoying than when some other content creator trying Mythic Plus wasn't out like week 2. I mean, that's not bad feedback either. Like, I definitely hear it when folks are like, hey, dude, game opened up, but my game mode, it's still kind of like cooking, still kind of warming up. In hindsight, I think it was still the better idea to do it to kind of space things out like this, because it let the team address issues as they came, as people ran into them as they went live. Like, imagine if everything went live at once. You know, no preseason. You just had like the leveling, the raids, Mythic Plus, all that stuff, Dells, whatever. You know, and the team had to take on all of these problems simultaneously. That's kind of a lot. Not to say that, you know, things shouldn't just work good, you know, right out the gate. They definitely should. But this clearly gave them an opportunity to address problems before the next thing came out. Because otherwise, it would have been a total shit show. They should just say Realms will be up at 10 p.m. when it comes up earlier. People are happy. Instead, people will be disappointed every hour they push it back. Lol. That's how it goes. There would be a different kind of anger if they said, "Oh yeah, Realms will be up maybe around noontime," because they might still screw up. But if they happen to bring them up early, you know, then some people might have planned around it and be like, "Oh, dude, like, but now I'm watching a movie, or now I'm doing this and this, and now Realms are up. Fuck you, Blizz." You know, so it would just be a different thing. So. Frost Mage is a great candidate for a tank spec rework. Ooh. Did something change? I'm still getting one tapped in 8s. I mean, maybe 8s are like a world of a difference between this and 7. So, regardless, I say do 7s. I think Blizzard set up the gearing expansion to force people into delves, either to force the experience or for load testing delves. However you want to spin it, sure. I like the idea of endgame for anyone not doing raids in Mythic Plus, but the scaling really screwed the idea. Some of us were able to do tier 11s in week 1, and that feels really bad MO. Well, here's my counter question to that though. Why is that a problem? If some people are skilled enough to do 11s right away, like, what's bad about that? What is actually, like, yeah. What's bad about that? I'll try to get caught up with chat and then read the reply. People are scared of Mythic Plus, so they delay, which is the worst. They delay, which is the worst thing. The early weeks and months bugs are much more relaxed and let you learn. When you wait mid-season or towards... So they delay, which is the worst thing. You. The early weeks and months pugs are much more relaxed and let you learn. When you want mid-season or towards the end, you try to learn. I'll take your word for it, but I hear other people say differently. Where the experience during Dragonflight was, people did mythics and all that, but as soon as the season started, you already had people with like these very stringent requirements, and people were like, there were like mass leave. It was pretty bad at the start. But I don't think I guess I'm just saying it doesn't seem like it would make any difference when they brought them out. But I don't like that it took this. Part of me doesn't like that it took this long for Mythic Zeros to come out. I think they could have come out in the second week. I think that would have been all right. Dells, give me no Mage Tower had different appearances for each spec and class. Yes. Yeah, Dells gives me a great option to get on and get my vault done. Just can't put the hours in like I used to, but I still have the game. If I'm someone who hates running with real players, so I love the new follower dungeons and delves. Hey, what's up, True Granted? Are they increasing Brand's level beyond 38 this week? I am not sure. I have not heard them address the level cap at all. Being an old engineer, I'm really enjoying delves. I can take a break for a work call or if I have issue with the kids. If I was a rave with other people, I would be wasting their time. It depends on the team too. Like, I have like on my raid team, some people have kids. Unfortunately, some of them got kids and families or people that they're taking care of, and we deal with it. We just adjust the culture to it. That's all. Blizz posted a 50% off on store mounts promo in the forums, and people losing their shit. Wow, this is almost comical. What, is that bad or something? I'm just hoping I get pants. I remember classic patches in realms were down for 8 hours a day. Those modern players don't know the pain. 8 hours? Oh, that's on a good day, dude. I remember hearing about realms where they're just down for days. Days, man. And we'd see regular forum posts on like it'd be like just a list of, hey, here are the players on these realms that are down, and here's like just game time, and they just gave flat game time to all players because people just kept jumping from one server to another. They couldn't play, whatever, and they just gave a bunch of time to everyone. Young Spud, thank you. Raids are at giant time sink. That's funny. Raids are a giant time sink. Remember, we are playing a MMORPG, and kind of goes without saying. We can say that about like everything. It's not bad that people can do tier 11 week 1. It's more my expectations were aligned with something Mage Tower-ish. Nah, I get it. I get what you're saying. I was saying earlier though that when you create content like this that's role agnostic, as in any class should be able to do this, any spec should be able to do this, and you can do it in a group, that idea of careful balance between all the different classes and specs, that just gets thrown out the window. Because you could have things, we could have this encounter thing be tuned just for a Shadow Priest, where just Shadow Priest abilities would like really shine here, and that'd be great. But as soon as you add another person into it, it all fucks up. Everything there just no longer matters, because it's like, oh, here's a tank, wow, 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 same thing. It's like, oh, for a tank, maybe there are certain things that are tank specific, and all these things to interrupt and control, and blah blah blah. and it's going to take a while for you to control everything. But if you have a DPS behind you, just pew-pewing from behind to cancel all that stuff out, hey, nice. So the whole idea of comparing it to the Mage Tower, it died as soon as we learned that, oh, you can do it in a group, which we learned within the first minute. Taking on the minecart pro move, damn right. Use the terrain, dude. Use the terrain. Pretty sure already was told, but pushed back another hour. Yeah, kind of a bummer. Back in vanilla, it could be a week for mods to update too. Well, that was when the mod team was like really, really new. You know, these days you can get on CurseForge, and there are people producing new add-ons every day. Pretty much every day, you're seeing something new. Now, a lot of them are like clones, people who are just kind of like learning how to code in Lua, and they're making an auto-selling add-on for the first time. Woo! You know, so Paladin changes are still coming. I'm not aware of Paladin changes. I know that there are some 1105 changes, but I'm not too familiar with. Actually, no. There are some Paladin. There is some class rebalancing. Not much though. I still shudder at the memories of doing those Kata updates. We had to walk 3 miles in knee-high knee-high snow. No, they're not losing their shit bad. They're complaining about how Blizzard can't do anything but chill. It shows how they only care about money, God forbid, etc. I mean, these people are talking like, you know, like the class designers are like, hey, fellow class designer, what are you up to today? Oh, I'm putting more stuff in the shop. Oh yeah, you too? I'm also thinking of how to make more money. So, hey, if that's how they believe it works, sure. I wonder like how many months or weeks or whatever in advance was like, you know, certain deals and sales and all that stuff going on that are just put on a schedule. Tip, if you're at 0 lives, avoid the respawn point until just before the last boss. Even if you die 20 times, you still... Oh, right. Oh, that's not a bad idea. So you'll actually restore your bountiful buff? Is that what happens? That's interesting. One thing they should try is make all the dots and debuffs be omni-dispellable. It just doesn't make sense to have classes that just have to eat huge nukes. Which thing are you talking about? Or have Brand's potion do dispels too? What class is having trouble with dispels and stuff like that? No one asked for Dells. Goodbye, War. I want to be doing Dells the whole expansion right now. I worry the draw will be in a few weeks. Oh well. I guess the solution plank is to time gate delves. Right? Here's some ideas that you'll hate me for. Let's make it so that in order to get higher gear or to progress to higher tiers of delves, you'll need to progress down the delve season track. Yeah. So in order to go down the delve season track, the immediate reaction would be to make a bunch of alts and have all of your alts do bountiful delves. And so to avoid that sort of degen behavior, you would need to cap how much delve season progression that you do per week. That's going to go great. But that would do it. If you want to, quote, artificially extend the life of delves. On the other hand, just let people play they want. And if it makes and if people exhaust the content and then stop playing, maybe that's okay. Maybe they're cool with that. Because you shouldn't have to feel, maybe they're trying to send a message that we don't want you to feel locked in or forced to, wait excessively long for content to open up. I mean, look at Mythic Plus people. They're like frothing at the mouth over this. But to slow down delves too, so I guess what they're trying to do here is like, okay, maybe let's not shackle them so much and just kind of see what happens. Maybe they will do something like that, but in the meantime, this is what we got. It's my fault everything goes on sale right after I pay for it. As a demo luck, I can't dispel anything from myself. Yeah, so which class should I try next? Specs with a massive cooldown on interrupts and have to rely on Brand's kick. Like in this case, I was able to just rely on brand potions. So it wasn't a dispel that I got. It was just big heals. Big heals. Alright, so I'll let this one play at 1x speed now too. I think the non-bountiful gear looted in Dell should go up to 590 depending on tier. Well, there goes heroic dungeons. And normal dungeons. Yeah. A priest tank spec could put all the mobs to sleep with a lecture spell. Foeman. Yeah, dude. I mean, as soon as the second week started, do we get Mythic Plus yet? I'm like, damn, guys. Okay, so a demo lock, a rogue, a healer. Oh, I'm caught up with chat. Yes. Okay. So demo lock, a rogue, or a healer. I guess a rogue would send the strongest message as to what's possible. Well, that's going to be a lot of whatever that bandage ability is called. A lot of that happening. And I'd probably see. I'm trying to think of what I would do. I'd want to play assassination because it's the only spec that I can even tolerate. But I'd also probably do a lot of knife throwing too. I'd throw a bunch of knives and then I'd let Bran come over and then hopefully I can work up the way to like stun him and stuff. So like fighting a guy like this, yeah, I wonder if I'd be able to like do like a slow poison kite thing because I don't think I can. I think I can stun this guy. I think. I don't remember. Achievement unlocked chat. Yeah, demo lock seems way too easy. I think. Yeah. I mean, yeah, so what makes it hard for a demo lock? They should just, like, smoke everything. It seems easy, but it ain't. Trust me. Well, I'm not just gonna trust you. Why is it hard? What makes it difficult? Does your pet die too fast? Are you pulling too much at once? Issue with demos, our interrupt is a 30-second cooldown. The cooldown on Healthstone is still 2 minutes or 1 minute? I forget. And the pet dies a lot. What happens if your pet doesn't growl? Like, you run in, let the pet. Like, I guess tests that I'd want to do on a demo lock would be turn the growl off, let the pet run in, let him do his thing, but I'm not going to cast anything myself. I want to see how long it takes for Bran to pull off. And then I think the Felguard has a stun of some sort. Yeah, it has a stun. Shit, I could just fucking... I don't know if I'd be able to, like, chain fear dudes. Dude's gonna cast. Okay, I'm just gonna get a fear off. Yeah. Because fear is an interrupt, isn't it? Demolog doesn't. Well, it's the same difference. If there's a long ass cast, that's an issue. Yeah, so you just keep hitting it, or you kind of time it in such a way that you get the fear off as it's casting. I remember this from like vanilla BC days when when you start seeing mob rotations long enough that when the cast is going to happen. Okay, they're going to swing like 3 times and then they're going to start the cast, and then you just have your fear going off like right before or right when they start the cast. Oh, I mean, I don't know how it is now, but yeah, those are the things that I'd rely on. And see that corner right there? I would rely on that corner to go around the corner to hopefully not get hit by that. All this talk about long CCs and I do find us pretty so long. I mean, here's my Shadow Priest doing his thing. And I did very little CC, actually. I ran the stealth, not realizing you can drop the candle, so when I pulled, I sat still unless to dodge an ability, only moving pixels out of range. Yeah, at one point I was like, oh, what's this button? And then so I just hit the button. I was like, oh, got it. So look at your screen sometimes. There might be useful information on your screen. For example, Zekvir. Okay, that's like a different that's a different thing altogether. I'm just talking about being able to do 7s and 8s. You have to switch pets for ads or boss. Hell, even switch builds mid a delve. I did run him as a healer, but his heal sucks ass. I mean, people are saying that I got better. But if I can do 7s as a 540 Shadow Priest, then double check how it feels now. Because there might be changes that we just haven't quite realized. As an affliction luck, I found his heals to be excellent, making me pack up my house for a move. The nerve of these devs taking my way. Oh god. Dang, Fairley, he's calling you bad. That's crazy because you're highest geared in the guild right now. At least that's what I happen to look at. I think you're at 605 or something like that, or higher. Maybe you don't realize Brand doesn't heal you. He drops potions you have to walk over. With a 30-second interrupt, you can't keep up with all the heals. Yeah. Well, we're not talking about Zekvir, though. We're just talking about just generally doing delves. Yeah, what sucks about Zekvir is that at the moment there isn't a reliable interrupt for people who have long interrupts, because you got to interrupt both a very, very deadly AoE poison thing. Okay, well, technically you do. So one thing that not everyone knows about with that AoE poison is that it is a movement speed debuff. So if you're able to dispel movement speed debuffs right away, you can pretty much negate the whole thing. So a prop paladin or a paladin can be like, hey, the cast is coming, and then they just pop freedom, and then the ability doesn't hit. So you're like, haha. And then anyone who happens to have something that can dispel that, cool, you can just dispel it right away too. That's why paladins are the best, man. Paladins are so good. That mushroom rare poison nova is kind of cheap as hell. I'm not familiar with that. Mushroom rare poison nova? Oh. I think I remember one that does like this nova and it just annihilates you. Let's talk about the bounty maps. Just run them and pray. I think my priest has a level 3. He has a tier 3 delve map. I'm like, great. That's wonderful. I haven't found a reliable way to stop that or prevent taking it to the face. Don't DKs have a anti-CC thing? Because that would work. I don't think it's enough. But yeah, and then I think on the super hard Zekvir version, his second cast is a self-heal that brings him up like 10% of his life, which is fucking annoying. Not on your death knight, okay. Which class then? Blizzard definitely starts every discussion with how can this make Pally better? Not that I'm complaining. Yeah. You just eat it and death straight back. Yeah, I figured that's effective because I'll look at my when I pull Zekvir, like I'll have my consecration done already, and because my ratings are still kind of like all mixed up, I'll easily get full melee hits. Boom, boom, 2 melee hits just like that. I'm like, fuck. So I pretty much have to start the pull with my Ardent Defender going because I might die in like I might die in a few seconds. Also, fun fact, Demo Locks are the only class with an interrupt that has travel time. That is not true. Avenger Shield has a travel time as well. So sorry, don't stop feeling so special. Of course, we have 2. But yeah, we're not the only ones. I recall many failures, many deaths, many wipes, because my shield just didn't get there fast enough. So I know your pain. I know your pain. Those are the times where it's like, oh man, I wish Avenger Shield was off the global, right? Because it's not just the travel time that really gets it. It's more like, oh, if I had like maybe a third of a second, then it would have hit. It would have connected. But nope, not every time. Let's see. I did a delve on my priest as holy at 551 and use dominate mind to have a mind controlled elite to kill everything. It's annoying to recast it every 30 seconds, but it worked. Yeah, that's cool, dude. I would try it on like a really high level delve just to see how effective that is. And then fade, and then once it wears off, I'd fade onto Brand, and hopefully that would do it. Very fair, Mr. My interrupt has a super short cooldown and bounces to multiple targets. You only interrupt the initial target, by the way. So, Hunter interrupt has a small travel time as well, very small. Oh, does it? Does that as well? It felt instant because that shit moves fast. Unlike prop paladin, it really feels like it's like I gotta wind up and then throw the shield. Like there's a small delay to it. Small delay to it. When they removed dodge and parry from gear, that made paladins worse. I mean, they removed dodge and parry from everyone. You know? I was back in the day of Wrath, I was a dodge pally. That was my jam. You know, I had the agility cloak and all that stuff to get some extra stats in. I kind of remember that being one of the things that we itemized. That was better itemization. I'm like, okay, let me get this instead. Isn't counter shot a hit marker? So while the visual is an instant, the effect is. Okay. Shields are heavy, can't be easy to just chuck them across the room with one hand too. With one hand, that's and with not even the dominant hand. You know, you're throwing it with your shield arm, not your sword swinging arm. You know, that would be cool. Something that I never hear talked about, maybe because it doesn't matter. What if we were to change like being left-handed and right-handed? They'd have to like redo animations and all that shit and be kind of nuts, but that'd be kind of cool. Hey Blizz, can I be left-handed instead? I'm right-handed, by the way, because left-handed people are kind of scary. I'm just kidding. I think my sister's left-handed. Now that I think about it. This extended maintenance is great. I'm still at work, so I'm not missing much the later it gets. Oh yeah, I'm cool with this. I'm cool with just chatting, because I got good B-roll. That's easy to commentate on, and you know that'll work. Much easier than just me, you know. This at least gives something to look at. I know I'm coping, but this works out. So. So I guess I would need to do a rogue next. Fuck, man. Just thinking about leveling on the rogue though, it's so discouraging. Like that's the great battle. That's the battle that I'm gonna contend with. Just putting up with leveling a rogue. Ugh. I gotta learn how to play it and press the buttons and stuff. Ugh. You know, and this is a little bit more... Horrific Visions were easier because I relied a lot on the essences. The essences did so much of the throughput in Horrific Visions. And then the rest was like execution for the most part. This is not as gimmicky. So this will be tougher. Now, when it comes time to really start putting this in practice, you know, I'm sure I'm going to be like, okay, I can skip mobs here, I can do this, could do that, you know, and that'll be cool. But I know the gameplay side of it will be challenging for me because I just feel awkward on a rogue. But also, in a way, I handicap myself because I refuse to like look at class guides and things like that. Everything I do is just me playing by ear. I don't think any of the footage here shows my talent tree, but I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. with my talent tree. I was just like, this looks all right. This this whole thing with the shadow orb thing. This seems pretty useful. It slows the enemy down. I could use that, and I like the whole tentacle beam thing because that just seems cool. Yeah. I'm scratching that itch to build a factory by playing the new Satisfactory full release. I heard good things about that game, but I wasn't. The thing I like about, so I've been playing this other, or I haven't played it in a while now. I was playing this game called Dyson Sphere Program, and I like that one a lot because there's violence involved. And I don't think the Satisfactory have the same thing. Is there violence in there? Are there like dudes to like defend against and all that? Because I love Dyson Sphere. Oh, it's a dangerous game. The reason why I'm not playing it is because if I did, I would just stop doing anything else, and that'd be bad. But it was a lot of fun. Like, it's cool having like this whole systematic factory of having like this base on a very hostile planet, and the planet is constantly trying to assault your base, but you're killing everything, you're salvaging everything, and then you're sending off all these individual parts to other planets, so that way they can use those parts to make new things, and then those factories, they send stuff off to other planets. It's so complicated. It gets so fucking messy. But it's hella cool. Your base will never come under attack. Yeah, so that's why it is not satisfactory to me. That's boring. I like Factoria. I started playing it, and I guess visually I just stopped. I just didn't like it. Check out Dyson Sphere though. That one gets pretty nuts. All these years later, they're getting a space exploration expansion. I mean, the cool thing about Dyson Sphere is that you straight up like you're like this giant robot, and what you're doing is, it's like, hey, okay, I'm finally gonna leave my home planet. I'm gonna start colonizing other planets, or I'm gonna start, building on other planets so I can get more resources. And so you straight up just like start flying up, and then boom, you're in this big space map, and you're physically moving your character around to go to this other planet. You pop your warp drive, boom, go in a straight line, and just keep going until you just kind of crash land on another planet somewhere, in some other star, where you might be, and the end game of it is that you're creating this Dyson Sphere. So you're gathering resources from different star systems and bringing them all together so you can make parts, you can shoot them over, and slowly start building this whole grid that sucks up power from that. Yeah, it gets nuts. Felt clunky and all that. It did feel, well, it is a little bit in earlier access at the time, but it feels good. Feels good. Checking Radar IO, you can see the WoW devs doing keys already. Haha. Oh, is that so? Oh, I didn't realize that. I didn't realize that you were able to see that sort of thing there. Me and myself, hey, what's up? You're late. You are late. Oh my god. You know what's late? Servers. Servers are late, man. So did they push the server? I don't know what it is. So is it 2 p.m. Pacific now? Let's see. Okay, it says 12 here, but you guys are saying it is 4 now? Let's see. License Sphere is so much fun. Yeah, I like it a lot. Maybe I'll try again with Factorio. But funny enough, like that felt, no, clunky is not the word. It felt awkward in Factorio. Like Dyson Sphere feels way better. And then once you get a real hang of things, then you start making yourself blueprints, and then Oh, it's nuts. Yeah. So what? So is it a tweet where they're saying it? Because y'all are saying 2 o'clock. Oh, okay. Okay. It still says 2 p.m. Central. You're right. In fact, they're running keys again, still and again. It's kind of scaring me. Is Mythic Plus going to be busted? Factory, you got to get in that RTS mindset, and yeah, it has blueprints too. And eventually, you don't need to even walk around. You can just make your base from the map. Yeah. Like, there's just something really cool about eventually laying down a blueprint that takes up a third of a planet. Now there are blueprints that you download online because I'm not that smart, and some people they'll just think of like these crazy ass builds and stuff. But it's just really nuts seeing an entire planet of stuff, and you're seeing transport ships, and they're the actual transport ships. They're just like boom, boom, boom. They're like all, it becomes like this big nexus of activity, seeing all these things come together, all so you can make like some other resource that you need for like another thing. It's wild. So being able to see that kind of structure from space, basically, that's a really cool feeling. In something like Factorio, like you get this top down view, a very very far top down view of everything that's going on, which is cool, but it just doesn't have that scope. The scope of having like multiple planets that are just that are doing nothing but harvesting resources, and you're seeing this planet get sucked dry of like all of this stuff. Yeah, you get to see that same sort of thing. The cool thing though is again the violence part of it, when you have all these mobs that are coming towards your base, and then your base it's like continuously getting imports of like ammunition, rockets, stuff like that, and then it's constantly outputting the resources that it gets from the corpses of all these enemies. So you're effectively farming the planet of war related resources. Let's look at the dungeon pool here. Okay, so you do have like these things going. Oh, got it. Look at that, this guy with the numbers. Oh, look at you, so special. That's funny. How are you able to see these guys? So, what server are these guys technically on? Can we see that? So this is considered their smoke test character on Sargeras? Huh. Well, are they on their own servers? Or is that... Oh, maybe that's just the guild that they're in. Yeah, maybe that's just the guild that they're in. Okay, how about this guy? This guy is clearly not a real character. How do I go his profile again? Wait. Yeah. Okay, I can't go to his profile. So I click it, and then it extends. I click this one, and then I go to a page. What about this one? This one I go to a page. This one, I don't. Well, whatever. Oh, what's the affix? Great question. Ascendant. And it's a tyrannical week. And honest Phil Spencer himself. Oh, they are normal servers. Okay. I thought that I don't know this. I just had the impression that there was just that there were like hidden smoke test servers that the team can log on to. I mean, they could be part of other guilds and stuff, but then they're just on these isolated servers that no one else is really on. 547 tank doing a +2. Why not, dude? It's only a +2. Yeah. Wow, this dude's 233. You know, get good. 233. Yeah, what makes it 233? Okay, no, never mind. It says 591. It just looks all funny. That's all. Paladin is a real character. She's pushed to 3K and C. Oh no, I believe you. I believe you guys. This does actually raise a concern. Are these players able to keep the loot they get, the rating? It's testing stuff, so I don't think it's a big deal at all. She's not 547, she's 600 plus. They're testing, but will Blizz like roll them back or something? I mean, they could, but it's not like they're getting gear. They're not exactly getting gear that no one else can get. So, yeah, this means nothing to me. I guarantee some people. Well, let them see. Come on, dude. People get pissed off for far less. Come on, Mythic Plus people get pissed off over Delve people getting hero gear. Although, actually, they're not even saying... We don't even hear a lot of chatter on that. You know, the discourse on that was the loudest when it was announced. But then the reality of it is just like, okay, well, everyone's able to get it, and, you know, we're doing whatever, and that's it. So everyone kind of shut up and just... They were just playing instead. But they're getting extra time in the game world for... Yeah. No! How dare they? Grr sauce. So upsets. Alright. I mean, that's the whole thing. That's what they're trying to do. They're just trying to get some extra... They're trying to just get ahead on keys and gear, you know, before realms are up, so that way they can make sure they get into groups. Boom. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's tested for you. Let us in. All right, let me look at the thing again. It still says 12, so. Watch, the team is like, so can we get done in 10 minutes? Yeah, we can do it in 10 minutes. They're just still playing. 628 with 4 upgrades from Mythic Raids, so Mythic Raiders can still sit in Dornogal feeling ogled. You know what? Let them. Because I'm not going to see them. I'm going to be too busy running Delves, baby. You know, think about it like this. Like, back in the vanilla days, people were, like, sitting around and they were looking at, like, the people in, like, the Uber gear. Oh, my God, look at that guy. He's got the judgment set. Oh, skeet, skeet. But what else was going on? You weren't able to find a group because you're spamming trade chat forever and ever and ever, trying to find a group or rebuild that group because some people left. You're waiting for a PvP queue, or you're just out of shit to do and you're like, what do I do now? Because there wasn't just a lot of things to do in WoW back then, except to run the next dungeon. So yeah, you were like looking at like those other people who are just done, you know, fresh from their raid night and all that. What do you do now? Nope, gotta go. I got this to do. I got these things to do. I got this to farm for. I got delves to do. I gotta get my veteran chest. I got, you know, I got mounts to like farm for. Like there's just a lot. Oh, Quinn, thank you for the kindness. So what I'll try to do, maybe I'll try to cut the commentary that I did from those runs that I did, and I'll post that as something. But yeah. How many people are in my guild? How many people are actually in the guild? Well, like 100 some. Like 100. Yeah, 100 some people. And a lot of alts. And a lot of alts. Nah, man, Dalaran Labs after the raid. Oh, I know that. I remember that. Back in the day, I still remember back before the glory days of mob maintenance was every week for an hour or two. And on patches, maintenance was most of the day. Oh, for sure. It is if it's been ongoing for almost 2 months now. I mean, it's almost like saying they want to make sure things are fixed. It's kind of wild. I was doing lobster on Burning Steps, looking for thorium veins and vanilla when I wasn't raiding, so yeah. Hi, streamer. What does staying breezy entail? Just relaxing. That's it. Sometimes more things went wrong with the first patch. Lol. Hey, it's something that we don't like happening, and we should never be happy about extended downtime and stuff like that. But boy, is it an ever-growing reality that we just find in gaming. I don't keep good track myself, but I can't recall any live service game that has just had a smooth launch. You know? I think when Conquered launched, it didn't have any problems. Yeah. I don't think they had actual launch problems. In fact, they didn't have any problems throughout its entire lifetime. That's pretty good. Credit where it's due, right? It's only the reality for US in WoW. Oh, I like to joke about this, but I like to think that people on US realms, we encounter the problems, so the weak-willed folk over in the EU, they don't get their feelings hurt. Because they can't handle it. Sorry. I'm just joking. You can't have server problems if you can't even fill one server. That's the secret, baby. That's the secret. They're certainly reacting and fixing things much faster now in the patch. We used to wait months for them to tune something. I mean, it's kind of a double-edged sword, though, right? Because, you know, one could drop some narrative that they're flailing. Oh my God, they keep swinging in this direction. Now it's that direction, and blah blah blah. But you know, we could also say that, yeah, like what you're saying, they're being very aggressive. They're being very proactive with, and being responsive with making changes, addressing issues. Knowing that it's going to rattle some folks' feathers, but it certainly sends the message that they are listening, they're trying shit. That's fine. You keep on getting world first despite your earlier start. Oh, what world first people do? That's their thing. That's fine. Let's see. No, it hasn't. It doesn't work 50% of the time. How's your auto loot doing? What's wrong with auto loot? Doesn't work 50% of the time. Week 1, well, that's an answer. Half the time you go auto loot and it doesn't work. Oh, hey, look, they're up. Great. Just in time for me to go to lunch. Great. All right. So what are we gonna see, dudes? What are we gonna see? Taco Bell time. Oh. I don't know how I can handle that. So many pallies, as it should be. Paladins are the greatest class in the game. If there was a ranged DPS pally spec, then hunters would be done. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I guess rep pallies, they still have a bit of a range kind of advantage. Well, not really. It's not so great of an advantage. Let's see, the only way around it. Annoying but close loop window and click again, that usually works. Oh, that's what you mean. Oh, yeah, I have had that happen a number of times. Where it's usually where I kill hella dudes. I haven't noticed it on single things, but yeah, I guess I just haven't really noticed it being a problem. But you know, that's a thing. I'd say it's, you know, not the kind of impactful thing that I'd be like, all right, everyone, we need to stop what we're doing. Fuck Delves, fuck Mythic Plus. We need to get this auto loot working. Put your shit down, get to work. You know. Say a little prayer that they maybe sort out the guild banks, maybe. It's only so much loot can be opened at once. It's been that way since AoE loot got added. I'm trying to remember if I had noticed this. I mean, it really wasn't until like some of you guys are pointing out that I really noticed it. So I don't know how it was like before, if I ever ran into a similar issue. Single corpse loot has the issue. Well, write it up and then just... I mean, it's better than losing loot, that's for sure. So, yeah, if you haven't already, write it up whenever it happens and see if you can nail it down. Because I have not been conscious of it. I haven't really noticed. So, you know, they do see these things. That one they do know about, Sick. The whole thing with skywriting changing the way your orientation is. Like, I think they have mentioned that. They mentioned something about it. So all the servers are a lie? It's okay. It's okay, guys. If anything, we be on the lookout for the discourse coming from some North American people being like, look at this, Liquid's losing 2 hours of 2 hours of time and blah blah blah, which is funny because the fans are really the ones, you know, sometimes the players, they get into it, right? But it's mostly the fans that are like bitching. Lots of bitching, lots of coping. Oh, well, you know, NA has to deal with this and they lose their time doing blah blah blah. Yeah, well, you know, but then Europe, they lose one whole day of blah 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 because this and that, and you know, they'll make up any excuse and every excuse. Do I get to read comments on YouTube? Yeah, I can see them. They're all like right there. So I try to look at all of them. I do miss some things though. So, who did I miss? I missed people who've been subbing. So thank you to Jinx, thank you to Multi for gifting and subbing. I appreciate it. Thank you to Bo Peepers. Thank you very much. Thanks to a regular American SOB. That's a dope name. Thanks to Heretic and Kelby and Pulsar and Tiermore, to Aria Hedgehog, and to anyone who I missed. May I burn in hell for not reading you off for helping at the channel. I do appreciate it though. So I did pretty much nothing but run my mouth for the whole damn stream. That's cool. That's cool, but I managed to do it. This is something that I was scared of happening. I'm like, oh man, I hope realms come up early so that way I don't have to strain my voice, so early. Cool. But it's lunchtime, and it's time for me to go. And hopefully realms will be up and running by the time I return from lunch. So off I go, and I wish you well. I hope realms are up and fully functional soon. But otherwise, you guys have a great rest of your day. May your loots be merry, may your servers be up, and I'll see you guys for the next thing. Until then, stay safe, stay healthy.